and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4.
Full house. Woohoo.
All the people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a 5. There's Doug on the audio.
That's all right. I love it, man. Hello, Mover.
Hi.
Casmo, Wombat, welcome.
Casmo.
Hey, why does mine say recording error? Is that good?
I think you're good.
You're probably fine. Just
Red
roll
ball,
with
man.
it.
Just roll with
Not
it.
my show.
Yeah.
Might as well call this 3 Warriors and a Wombat for all I care.
This is like an E2 brief.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Well, in that case, we'll see you guys later.
Or in Casmo terms, 2 Apaches.
2 Apaches. That's right. Team brief.
2 Apaches.
I love it.
2 Apaches.
Yeah.
One of them's probably broken.
Turning spare, right? Who's this?
Yeah.
Who's the turning spare, man?
That's always Mover. Mover's always the broken one.
Yeah. Yeah. We got Doug in the background. Doug, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. Good to have you, man.
How about y'all?
Mover?
Well,
Why don't you start, man? How have you been,
years, dude? We really want to start off on this.
Well, dude, we're 3.5 minutes into the show.
It
Might as well talk about
feels
something.
like the last show was about 14 years ago.
Yeah.
Like I might as well have the Gonky beard at this point because, oh God. So I finished my recurrent training. I drove home.
Congrats.
Things got bad. I wound up in the ER.
Are you not going to show the other side of that photo?
I couldn't figure out how to tie the thing.
Wrong channel, dude.
Yeah. And then
That's after hours.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the other podcast.
Missed
That's
the race.
Patreon.
I felt
Yeah.
terrible about it.
That's about right.
And then as things go, when you're worried about yourself and you feel like life is out to get you, something comes along and puts it in perspective. And Saturday night, friend of mine, Grant Candies, was out on patrol and a pursuit started. And he was out putting spike strips for a couple kids that were running away. And for no reason, just stupid stuff at midnight, running from the cops. And they swerved and hit him. And it killed him.
Jeez.
So we have been dealing with the fallout from that. Luna has been utilized more than ever wanted her to, because that, I mean, obviously it's what she does, but it's not something we want to have happen because it's the first time the agency's lost somebody like that in a long, long time. And so, yeah, life has been a roller coaster lately, but I am feeling better. Although I'm not out of the woods, I have multiple follow-ups. I'm probably grounded for a little while and probably not going to race for a little while. And yeah, that's why we brought everybody else in, because I'm the Debbie Downer tonight.
I don't know, dude. Stuff happens, man.
The GoFundMe for the family is pinned to the chat on the YouTube side. Doug, if you could post it just both places. He leaves behind a wife and 2 young kids. And, you know, the guy was kind of a great glow up story, if you will, because he had gone from kind of zero to hero, becoming deputy of the year in 2023, and then a sergeant, and then this happens. So, yeah, makes your problem seem stupid. Like, right, Saturday, I'm like, oh, I can't go race a car. Oh, I'm such a loser. You know, life sucks. My body's failing me. And then, you know, that next morning, I'm like, oh, I feel a little better. And then this happens. And you're like, oh, yeah, you know, every day is precious. So anyway, Gonky, how are you? Sorry I didn't get to see you Saturday.
Yeah, dude. My my son was excited to go, but you know, I just explained to him that, hey, old Uncle Mover got sick and he can't make it this time. So yeah, man, it was I was looking forward to seeing both you and Doug actually out there making some noise, but whatever, man. We'll get together, you know, some other time, some other event, and we'll make it happen, man.
Yeah.
So
cool. Wombat, been a minute.
It has, yeah. I'm good. I'm just hanging in there, man. Nothing really. Just been busy not working and reading hate mail. So it takes up a lot of time.
Casmo, welcome back. We've missed you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Z list. Wow, you've upgraded.
That's right.
Dude.
You made the Z list finally.
I'm
That's
in the letters. It's great.
How did
It's
you get in the
fantastic.
letters, man? That's awesome. Congrats.
Absolutely.
Good to see you. Anything new from the world of the Sarcasmo?
No, just got back from work today. Flew up from Miami. Where I'd ended my grueling 4-day trip where I only flew 1 day.
But complied with all taxi and hold short instructions.
Absolutely, 100%. Every single one of them. Listen, I was very angry. I don't think I've been on the show.
And
since
it
that happened.
begins.
I was not that guy, by the way.
It wasn't.
But I
me.
just want to say, if somebody works in the Philadelphia Tower, I don't appreciate your tone. I don't need you to enunciate the hold short just for my call sign. I don't need that. Talk to me like everyone else. You're rude.
Oh, that's funny.
Casmo, in their
You could
defense,
tell there
they're
was a
from Philly. That's
just how they talk.
So-
No, it was a tone. It was like JetBlue, blah blah blah, whatever. And then it was like for us, it was like hold short, run. I looked at the other guy. I was like, I don't like his tone.
R-U-N-W-A.
Understand the words that are coming out of my mouth.
Why is it taking us 20 minutes to taxi across? No, it was fine.
Should have totally played it, Casmo.
You
Say
automatically.
Yeah.
and then
You
read it back completely
automatically-
wrong.
Yeah.
Read it completely wrong. So what you want is
Progressive. You get a progressive taxi
yeah,
no matter what you
yeah.
want.
That's
Okay.
right.
Stop.
You get that as soon as you upgrade to captain, by the way.
Do
You
I
get a
turn right
progressive
here?
Captain.
No, dude, they taxi. You taxi, right? You taxi on your own, like as you're
That's
a big
crazy.
boy now.
Kind of wild.
We
West
swap-
stuff.
we swap seats every day.
Really?
Yeah.
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 So much I don't know about aviation that I'm never going to learn.
Well, that's
Yeah,
why
at
we're
first
here
It was very
We
alarming at
learn
first. but it's fun.
together.
That's
That's
why
right.
we're here.
Mhm.
That's apparently.
Well,
Okay.
what we do is we post
Absolutely.
our opinions of how we think it might work, and then we wait for the comments to correct us.
Oh, let's talk about the comments.
true.
Go
No
ahead,
matter
Wombat.
how
What's on your
many
mind?
seconds you have watched me on YouTube, you don't know who I voted for, what countries I hate, if I even voted, because frankly, I can't remember. And you don't know how to take a joke for most people. And
Are you even
For
a real
now.
pilot, Wombat? Just for the record.
no, and I've never claimed to be a real pilot. And most of my instructors going out would agree with the YouTube comments that I'm not. I don't mind the pilot jokes because I know what I've done. It's the like threatening family type
Jesus.
things
God,
that I'm
man.
like, you need to chill out a little bit. And this is not coming from Canada because they're not going to threaten my family.
Do they know you're friends with the aliens?
Well, that's what I try to tell them. I'm like, dude, it's just one little like blink. You're done. All right. You're gone. You hear about probes? They're not fun. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want to have to go there.
You
but
just
people
made the
want-
list.
Yeah, you made the list.
You will be anally probed
So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
first.
first.
so yeah, it's
Big one.
ridiculous. Anyway, it's ridiculous. But let's
Jeez.
talk about other people screwing up. I did have one fun flight where I almost had to go to an airport with 60 knot crosswinds. So that was
Ooh.
if anybody was on that flight to Albuquerque. I doubt they are. Yeah, we did.
Took
we
a
did
wrong
not
turn
make
at
it.
Albuquerque.
I'd say a right turn with those crosswinds, man. There's no way I'm landing an Airbus and that stuff. So, although I did learn on the divert that apparently a 320 has a higher Gonky. I don't know if you know this or
No,
care,
we're
a
continuing.
higher max crosswind than a 7.3. I didn't realize that. Well, the
That's
7.3
because
they-
the engines will scrape off the
they look
cells.
like they already have scraped off. That's why they're weird shaped.
They're notched.
They
They're
get worse.
notched.
They're pre-scraped.
They get worse.
But yeah, yeah, so I guess they're like 33 knots and we're 38 or something, including gusts. It was the gusts, but so I hollered at Tucson for a few hours and then went back. So
Welcome
yeah,
back.
it was a fun flight. So
Casmo, you been doing any DCS lately?
Yeah, a little bit. I started kind of getting back into it a little bit.
I saw your post
It's
about
May
air
10th.
traffic controllers.
Yeah, I
Looking
guess
for-
they're trying to get some verbiage. I did just do a bunch of lines for the Apache for them, so I guess they're getting ready to.
Are
push
you
some-
a voice
Hey.
actor now?
I've done so much voice acting.
Really?
Yeah, that's right. You
ton.
did.
I'm in like 5 different campaigns. I did the voice for the Apache. Like,
Do you have an IMDb? Hold on.
I guess I should. Maybe I should
I'm
do
gonna
that.
look.
Dude,
How do you spell Casmo?
It's on the screen.
Yeah, it's
you are now Z plus. Listen,
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
exactly.
You moved
That's,
up.
that's what brought
you
me
moved
there.
up just a
Gonky, what's above Z?
plus.
February.
He's got to do the whole thing in order.
That's right. You got to go through the
Plus. Right.
plus.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Z alpha?
Do the
I don't know.
alphabet backwards, Gonky. I can't even do that sober.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
time doing it frontwards.
We have a show. Doug, are you okay?
I am pretty much okay. Am
Pretty
I
much.
okay? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Can we
My
see
mute,
you?
my mute button was
Can
lagged.
we see you? Bring it up. Bring up
Put
the
his clothes back on.
bring out the Doug cam
Do I have,
in the prison room.
do I have my
There he
shirt on?
is.
There he is.
I have my shirt on.
Cost
we
us a
go.
lot of
Oh,
money.
that's
to get
unfortunate.
See, I like this camera. The other one made me look narrow. This one makes me look,
Less the opposite of narrow. I don't.
Yeah.
Wide,
I love it.
What?
proportionate.
Love it.
yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Just less
I'm a
space, man.
great big dude.
Yeah.
It's not that kind of
All
a
right.
show, folks.
Well,
No,
let's move on to stuff we can talk about and
And
give
probably
our-
things we can't.
expert opinion on. Oh, hey, there's super chats. Wicked Spider
Super
Black
chats.
says, "Hello, gentlemen. Another great Monday."
It is.
Well, it is in fact
Hello.
Monday. I'll give you that. Goofiest Cooper says, "Hey, mover, just learned you're a small town Louisiana native like me. This show is a big motivator to finish my senior year of college and hopefully fulfill my dream of being an aviator. Many thanks." Hell yeah.
Awesome, man.
Do it.
Hell yeah. Renegade Actual. That's
Thanks,
it.
man.
Says $1.
That's the chat. Pneumatic Elephant. Hello, holy Zamboni. We have 5 of a kind. So great to see you all. Sending warm thoughts, prayers, best wishes to all. Stuff happens. This ain't the news or nothing. Dude, I'm wearing that shirt. It says
Art-
it.
You already have a shirt that says that.
Come on. Yeah. Look,
Dude,
dude.
Yeah.
oh my
Did you
God.
see it?
Yeah. Merchandising. Right?
Yeah.
Can you learn anything from Spaceballs?
I'm still waiting on Cleared Weird.
Spartan. That'll be on Movers merch side.
Cool.
Aircav.
All the way.
All the way. Hold on. Vor Axelon the Wise puts on his robe and wizard hat. I'd love to see one of you make a visit to Vets Talk and Stream. They never have pilots on. It'd be cool to see y'all riff. Adam digs it. I nominate
Heard of it.
Gonky.
Yes.
He is the most charismatic of the 4.
He is the
Oh,
most
yeah.
charismatic, and he
Especially
can
with the
say
beard.
stupid things on other people's podcasts, and they'll be like, "It's just Gonky."
Yeah, that's
The
fine.
golden retriever. Brian. Hey, Brian. Just tell
Hello.
everyone you're keeping up foreign relations. Also, Albuquerque is a fun ride in the very back every time.
Every time.
Let me tell you, it was not much of a ride in the front either. That landing.
Thanks for the GoFundMe to those guys. Yes, all of them have been. In fact, they wrecked in New Orleans. So the pursuit went all the way from Slidell, Louisiana to New Orleans. They crashed into a Tahoe, injured that officer. Somehow they all
Yeesh.
managed to get out alive because if you look at the wreckage, it looks like it was unsurvivable. And all been arrested. And I think 2 or 3 are getting charged with first-degree murder
Thanks,
So-
Irish.
Yeah.
as adults. So, and then Timber says, "Sorry about your race, mover. I wish you a fast recovery."
Thanks,
Yeah,
Timber.
sucks. I feel bad for the people that were counting on me. I mean, that sucks. I mean, that really.
It's not over, man. It's not over. You speak of it like it could
John
never
says,
happen
having lost a few friends in line of duty, words can't express the sorrow everyone experiences. Please donate. The family needs your support. Thank you, John. And that is
Thanks,
absolutely valid.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about things that are best. Oh, hey, I got a book coming out. Probably should talk about that. Go buy the book tomorrow. Project Virtus. If you like sci-fi, got a helicopter pilot in honor of Casmo.
Is this the one where I did the lines for the thing? You used my
No,
line?
that's the second book. That's the
Oh,
second
okay.
book. I was
Okay.
working on the sequel when I asked you that stuff.
That's a cool cover.
Yeah.
That's cool.
The pushing the Apache stuff. Yeah, that's
Wait, put the book
Yeah,
cover up again.
Who does that?
I did it.
Bullshit.
I made this. Yeah.
You made the cover?
I made the cover.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, dude. Look at you.
See the Earth being
like it.
destroyed and the two wayward astronauts.
Yeah.
Is that the one that I voted on or no? I can't remember now. It's been a while.
Well, I'm going to say yes if you can't remember.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
either way, regardless of.
it's a good pick.
Do you make all your do you make all your covers?
No, it's the first one I made.
Looks good.
It looks good.
You
Yeah.
want,
Yeah.
you want to make
I
one
learned
if I ever
Adobe.
finish a book?
Yeah, dude. $50. $50.
Somebody in chat says Casmo should do all of Mover's audiobooks.
There you go.
I'll tell you what, it'd be a heck of a lot better than somebody that did one of Moober's audiobooks. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm just saying.
Wow.
Because
On the top.
Casmo knows it's
Zing.
called a HUD, not an HUD. That's all I'm going to leave it at that. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah. What was he saying? Also, it was
He
like
rolled
runways.
in on the target.
He would say,
looking
like-
through the HUD. I'm like,
He's like, and then he turned final on runway 18. I'm like,
Yes, perfect.
yeah, sure. 18.
I mean, I get
34.
it. If you're not a
Or
pilot,
check
it'd
the
be really
METAR.
hard.
He was a U.S.
Yeah.
Airways guy.
What?
No, that's really bad then. That's,
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
See, we are getting better.
we are.
We are getting better.
Aviation
Anyway.
is safer.
It comes out tomorrow. Go buy a book. And if you have
Congrats,
already bought or read it as a beta reader or future reader, or you just want to leave a review, reviews help. The good kind. The 5 stars and above.
The 5 cars. Yeah, the 5.
Don't make me like that new Disney movie that's like 2 out of 10.
Make
'Cause
Mover 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, not 2 out of 10.
Well, if your
book's
so woke, then it won't be.
Oh, here,
Broke.
here we go.
Oh, Casmo, don't like.
Bring on
don't
the
like
comments.
views.
That's how we get 1 million views on this episode. Okay, let's talk about
Is that why
Casmo's
you
favorite
keep
topic.
asking me
What?
back on and Casmo on is because we're purely here just to stroke hate and discontent for views.
No, dude.
I feel a
Yeah,
little
stroke
used.
something.
I'm not gonna. I mean, I'm gonna do it, but I still feel a little used.
It's fun to hang out, man.
Mhm.
All right,
They know.
first topic of today. You ready? Helicopter pilots switching off life-saving safety system. Can we do this? No, that covers up Casmo. All right, we'll just cover up Gonky. It's fine. So they're switching off life-saving system, and this is basically they're switching off life-saving systems in a move that makes them practically invisible to passenger jets. A whistleblower has claimed. A serving Navy pilot who asked not to be named spoke to the Telegraph after it emerged the same system had been disabled in the Army Black Hawk helicopter crash in D.C. that killed 67 people in the passenger jet. I was waiting for something like that to happen. Officials have confirmed it was equipped with tracking technology that helps to share more accurate information with the controllers, automatic dependent surveillance broadcast, or ADSB. Technology allows air traffic control to not rely solely on radar tracking, which can have a delay of several seconds and therefore provides an extra layer of protection against crashes. Military is permitted to turn off ADSB when conducting sensitive operations related to national defense, homeland security, intelligence, and law enforcement. However, it's claimed that some military commanders mistrust the technology. The whistleblower came forward and said, Ted Cruz then said there was no compelling reason for this to be turned off. And then he says he grew the concern when he almost got hit because the other ADSB system was switched off. My co-pilot screamed, I saw the gray. I saw the other pilots' faces. I thought we were dead and the blades had hit because we were so close, but I was alive. Having received the GPS system for their unit's helicopters in 2023, the pilot described the technology as revolutionary, said it had saved their lives countless times. There are two sides, ADSB out, ADSB in, which is a GPS, puck, and an iPad. The former alerts the aircraft control of the position, the pilot's position, while the latter provides a 3D map. Following the near miss, the whistleblower encouraged pilots to start using ADSB out. I felt crazy. I was horrified. What are we worried about? Airliners? Although official guidance is understood to require ADSB out for training missions, they're interpreted differently from unit to unit. Accident could have been prevented. It reports position every 25 feet and every 100 feet. Can it? I can't finish this, dude. This is so stupid. There's so much wrong. There's so much wrong with this. Who? I guess I expect too much from everyone. Would anyone else like to take a turn before I roll in on this?
I don't
Casmo?
even understand why you would turn it off. Like, what is the threat of turning it off?
So, okay. So,
Explain to me.
because
like I'm a
I
child,
interviewed,
'cause
what is it? The 12th Aviation Battalion, Casmo,
Yeah,
the
like,
battalion
I
or
don't-
brigade? So they turned it
Yeah.
off. They turn off the ADSB out because on Global Exchange and Flight Aware, you can track ADSB, and they do continuity of government missions.
Okay.
And if
I'll
you,
buy that.
even for training missions, you start to
fine.
create patterns. They don't want to
Yep.
show
Sure.
what they're training and where they're going.
Yeah,
Makes
that's
sense.
fine.
What is stupid about this article is neither the pilot that's the whistleblower nor the people, Cameron Henderson, that wrote this article has any idea of how the system worked, because it would not have affected this mishap in the slightest, because the TCAS TA was all they
Yeah.
got, and that is not dependent on ADSB out.
Okay.
That is a transponder to transponder thing. So the Blackhawk, correct me if I'm wrong, Casmo, a UH-60 Lima does not have TCAS. So
I don't believe so. No,
yeah, I don't know of any military.
I don't
Like,
think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
except for
that's
like a
why I was
T-38.
asking about this the other day to guys who are still fly, because I haven't touched one of these things in years. But no, they don't have that on board now. I mean, I could see why in that like environment they might have it, because they're flying in so close proximity to civilian aircraft, because it is crazy to see those helicopters flying up and down the river there in DC. If you're ever in that area, it just seems wild. Like, is this even legal? But no, I don't think they have that. So it seems irrelevant.
Well, so because they talk about it, because a 60 Lima has no systems for which to give you a TCAS. Like, there's no glass cockpit.
Right.
It's just all
Right.
steam gauges. What they talk about is
Yeah.
the iPad. Like, they mentioned the iPad for ADSBN. Well, guess what? They had that. The pucks and the iPad, Gonky, we flew with that in the T-38. We used it as a poor man's data link. But
Sure.
as any helicopter pilot, I mean, Casmo, if you're on goggles, or even if you're not, if you're looking for traffic at low altitude, your head should not be in your iPad.
Yeah, you're not looking at the iPad.
You're not looking at the iPad, not at 200 feet, not at 150 feet, not at 300 feet.
I mean,
So-
I think we talked about this too last time, because it happened right after, or right before I was on last time. Wasn't there also like the jet was doing like a circle to land, and so it was kind of off normal, what they probably would expect normally. Like, even they're saying it with the helicopter was off by 100 feet. I mean, and I believe that, but still, why are they only 100 feet apart at all? Like, that just seems
Exactly.
wrong. I mean, that's
Exactly.
100 feet is not a lot. So
Yeah, and if you take into account, I mean, one of the things had them at 78 feet. And if you take into account position error, barometric
Right.
altimeter error, because the pilot I had, and Casmo, you might disagree or you might agree with him, he was a stands guy,
yeah,
standardization pilot. And what he said was, their book says, you fly the highest of the available altitude, which at that point was 200 feet. So they were teaching people to fly at 200 feet, because that's what the flip said to do. And
which is
they were
pretty
flying
low at night under
on
goggles in an
NVGs.
urban environment with somebody who's kind of still learning, because from what I understand, the pilot that was on the controls was going through what we call RL progression.
No,
So yeah,
that
was
turned
not.
out to not be. That was an annual check ride. So what
Well, that doesn't mean anything though, just because
Well,
it's an annual check ride.
she had 478 hours and had
It's not a
the
lot.
look back.
Yeah, I got it, but that doesn't mean that she was a line pilot. Like, she just
That's what
came,
he
from
said.
what I understand. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just going off the little bits of info that
Yeah.
I had, but I'm just saying 400 hours just because that annual check ride. Yeah. Okay. It is
Either
what it is.
way, she was still flying. 200. What I'm saying is, at 200 feet, you could be at 275 feet and be within the allowable altimeter error
Easily.
between the two. I mean,
Oh.
you're
100%.
100% correct. And since then, the FAA has gotten rid of that route, and they all reroute around the airport so they don't
Good.
cross flight paths. I mean, that has
Yeah,
been
it
what
shouldn't
has
have.
come out of this. But for this article, I mean, we're fine. We're searching for villains here. Whistleblower says
Right.
this is going to come out.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
dude, no, come on. I mean, it's not this one system. It's
The villain is the fact that was even like allowed in my
Yes.
mind. The villain
Yes.
is the fact that they even had that corridor in the first place, because flying 200 feet with goggles at night, looking around, like it's not like what we do now, staring at the screen and like the autopilot's on and you're off by like a couple feet.
Yeah.
Like you're looking outside and you're judging distance, and then you're checking every now and then to make sure that you're right, but you're going to balloon a little bit potentially. And I don't know what else may have been going on in the cockpit, but yeah, that margin of error is way too thin. That's the villain.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of, in my opinion, I've been saying this, it was a 1 in a million shot. That's what I think.
Yeah, the golden BB. I mean, at
Yeah.
some point, but then
Well, and I mean, it's also the airport too. Like, why at night are we doing circle to lands to that runway? It's to get
Yeah.
more planes in and out of there. It's
right.
like,
They had
at
one they were
some
trying
point-
to take off to get more.
At some point, it's like, dude, just manage the airspace and the traffic and say, uncle, like, we can't do more than
Right.
this many planes coming in. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've been delayed because of airspace constraints. Like, the fact that turned into a norm to be like, oh yeah, at night, and it was the RJs. I mean, like I've said it before on the show, I got asked to do it once, and I don't know if I've ever answered no so quickly in my life on the radio, because I'm like, no, like I don't even like landing on the long runway there. Like, so it's like during the day, okay, fine, but like once it gets dark, like why are we even doing that? Like it should just be everybody's coming into one, or you're landing on the on the RMP or the river visual to 19, and that's it, and just leave it at that. And if that airspace gets saturated, guess what? Senators can go to Dulles if they want to, or whatever what I mean. Like they're not that far apart. So yeah, I agree, Casmo. It's 1 in a million, and it sucks that it had to happen. But hopefully, some good stuff comes out of it. It sounds like it already has regarding the helicopter routes.
Yeah, the
But-
FAA has. I think that's a permanent change. They've made those routes at least. I mean, but still, Casmo. I mean, it was a plan for failure. If your lowest, if everybody did exactly what they were supposed to, the best case was 125 feet or whatever. Like we wouldn't accept that in our VSM, reduced vertical separation air. Like we don't accept that there, where you have to have specific equipment to do that, much less in an airport environment where.
Yeah, I get nervous enough when there's a 737 coming, and I know he's 1,000 feet above or below. But now you're going to tell me I'm at night under goggles, and an RJ is going to fly 100 feet above me? No, thanks. I'm good.
But a lot of times, like even in the airspace, right, 300 feet. They always say, 300 feet. So that's not even 75 feet. That's 300 feet before, hey, you're going to get a call, you're off altitude, stuff like that. Like we don't fly that precise. And one of the things the other pilot brought up was what could have happened, because if you watch the track, they slow down to 80 knots. They're doing 110, and then at the impact, they're about 80 knots. Like you talked about, you're like, oh, hey, what should I be looking at? And you start ballooning as you're slowing down, because what's our natural instinct to kind of slow down to see. So, I mean, I don't know.
Well, Mover, didn't you? I mean, literally 1,000,001, right? So what wasn't there like 900,000 incidents in the last 5 years, something like that? Or
3 or 4 years, and 75 of them were to the point where it was less than 100 feet separation.
So Casmo, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, and the shocking, sad piece of it, and really the true villain is we had plenty of warnings that this was a really bad idea. Like documented, like, hey man, we almost died. Let's file an ASAP.
Well,
right.
My good friend Frank Bonacotti, he died in a midair at Fort Lewis. Now it's Joint Base Lewis McChord. Same thing. It was a known training area corridor issue. They had multiple reports, and it finally took his aircraft getting T-boned by another one at night before they finally, well, I guess we should fix this. They knew about it. And so, yeah, it's unfortunate. It always takes this instead of just people just pulling their head out of their ass and saying, you know what, this is a problem. We should fix it build the ark before the flood. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a good quote too.
Thank you.
Casmo shirt.
That might end up on a shirt. So
Gonky and his.
I love the dueling merchandising that's going on.
Hold on, how was that again? Was Ark?
What did we have for Blanco Lirio? It was like
eat my ass, I think is what I said. Put that on your shirt.
Well, don't say that, because he's gonna.
Better call Juan.
Oh, that's right. With luckily
We had better call Juan. Oh God. Okay. Well, hey, probably don't put that in the clip there later. That's enough to talk about. All right. From the audience, as we continue on this merry band of misfits. Is that the word? Merry band of
Sure.
misfits.
Yes.
Eddie says Doug Siding was kind of hoping he'd forever remain like the neighbor from Home Improvement.
We literally talked about
Yeah.
that for the show. That's Doug, make that happen.
Where do we order the book? Can I get it on paperback? You could. Everything's on Amazon.
If you print it,
Print.
Printed. That's awesome.
print it yourself.
Yeah, take it in here, right here. You go to my website, it'll show you where to go for your favorite distribution network, if you will. But thank you, Renee. Renegade Actual says War Thunder just released the FA-18, a Legacy Hornet. Would be cool to see what y'all think of War Thunder's simulator mode sim flight models. Sounds like a Casmo question.
I never played War Thunder. Know it.
Maybe you should. Have you tried putting manuals on War Thunder? Because I hear that's all the rage.
Isn't that how you go to jail?
You're right. Is that how you go to jail?
Isn't that how you go to
That's
jail?
right. It's for tank guys. Yeah.
Tanks, Eurofighters, whatever. Ace Papa says, thanks, Mover, Gonky, Wombat, and Casmo, and Doug. With working a wild toddler named Ace, it's nice to relax with this content. Hope you're feeling better, Mover. Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Ace.
Gonky, I'll let you say this name.
Ooh, Max. Take it from there, man.
Maximiliano.
Quinones. Just had a fam ride in a T-38 doing high aspect BFM and absolutely loved it. Hoping for a pilot slot later this year. Love catching the show live and appreciate you guys. Wait till you do BFM in an actual real airplane.
Yeah.
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 How do
The
I get
fight
a
stays
fam
like
ride?
this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to get a
It's
fam
not
ride.
supposed to vibrate like that. I promise. Shirt idea, Gonky. Put that on there
It's
too.
not hold on. It's not supposed to vibrate like that.
Oh man, this is a rough show.
Which channel is that one going?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Tigero.
Tigaro.
Tigaro ha, Tigaro ho. He gives us an A10. A month ago, a Virgin flight alerted ATC, Australian Navy, of Chinese warships performing live fire drills off the east coast of Australia. Shouldn't commercial flights have been warned first for safety reasons?
Can I field this one? This seems
got
like
it,
an easy
Wombat.
one. China doesn't tell us what they're doing.
Are they
That's
the
not how the
honey
world
badger
works.
of the world?
So much like we probably don't alert Chinese airlines as to what we're doing, that's not how we all.
We alert that when we shot missiles off of the California coast, we let all the Chinese fishing vessels know.
That's true.
Have you
That's
checked
true,
your
and I did-
signal app today? I don't know.
When I did my my 4-ship of JSOW Alpha drop off Point Magoo, where all of the guys were transitioning from other communities, it was the best and worst live fire exercise ever. Same deal. Yeah, we all know dropped on the first run. It was awesome. But yeah, same thing. You're right. We alerted, and then we had to hold because there was a fishing boat. We didn't want to hit him with an Alpha.
Fishing boat.
Yeah, no, he had a lot of
With
antennas.
all
for a
the
fishing boat.
sensors.
Yeah,
He was
yeah. Probably
He was
would have
a
been a
ham
better
radio
fisherman
operator.
if he pointed them down, not
Yeah.
up. But
Yeah.
So.
If it were a harm, it would go right to that boat.
yeah, oh yeah,
All the radiation.
all of it, all of it.
Lisa, thank you, Lisa, says, thanks, guys. Yes, poor planning of routes with too narrow margin of error. Better to close 3-3, but if not, yes, route 4. Thank you for your coverage.
I just hope something comes out of it, and it sounds like things are, because that's the most tragic thing in aviation, right? Like we all know the risks, and I'm not trying to belittle. I mean, passengers, it's horrible, right? But like the worst thing is when something happens and then nothing gets done. So hopefully
it will,
something's
dude.
fixed.
100%.
So-
That airport, I mean, a
Yeah.
military and a civilian collision. I mean,
Yeah.
100%. Plus,
So-
now that they've like, well, we had nearly 1 million warnings.
Yeah. Once they started peeling the onion back, they're like, "Uh-oh, like this
Exactly.
one's kind of hard to." Yeah.
Mm.
So small consolation prize, but hopefully Good things.
Yeah.
Hammerby says, "How close are we getting to the Fighting Falcons racing team being real?"
That's
We're
a
going
horrible
backwards.
name for a
We're
racing
going
team.
backwards on that idea. We're going
That's a horrible
the
name.
wrong way. But
Fighting
for enough
Falcons.
money, anything can be real.
Yeah, that's
Correct.
Gonky shirt.
Dude, you're just tonight we're on fire.
He can't
Man.
keep up.
Tens of
Gonky
dollars
shirt.
are being made right
Shirt.
here.
Tens of
Tonight we're on
dollars.
fire.
Tens of dollars.
Yeah, it cost me
Dude,
200 to
Tonight
make
we're on
the shirt.
fire with a dumpster fire, and then
Oh, dude.
our faces.
Gonky's shirt could be a shirt.
Yeah.
Yo, dog, I heard you like shirts, so here's a shirt with your shirt while you're wearing a shirt. All right, so breaking-ish news.
Thank you,
The F-47 has been awarded to. Oh, we covered up Casmo again.
That's okay.
The F-47, and now there's Gonky, has been awarded to Boeing.
I would like to start by saying that none of us are suicidal.
Correct. Yes, we all enjoy our lives.
It's been a rough weekend. So,
Yeah.
So stupid looking.
Uh,
Well, Casmo, if it helps, it's never going to get built, so don't worry.
Donald Trump has said this thing is
What a relief.
computer, and he's thrilled to
Everything
announce
is computer.
everything is computer on this thing. It's gone over Mach 2. It's going to be huge, cheap, the best.
Questions?
It's gonna put big numbers up.
Questions, anybody?
You won't
Best
believe
ever.
how good this fighter is going to be.
I know a lot of 6th generation fighters, and they all say the same thing. This is the best.
Yes.
All the countries love this one, even the small countries, Gonky.
Christ.
They'll get a copy, but it won't be as good because we don't have any allies that we can give it
No,
to.
they're all gone. We ruined those last week.
That means they'll all be a top spec, man.
Yeah. So, but they're going to call it the F-47 because
Thunderbolt?
we're just doing random numbers now.
Thunderbolt 3, right? The A10's a Thunderbolt 2.
So I take issue with that. Why didn't we call it the F-69 since it's the last one?
Well, probably because the fighter pilot wasn't in charge
In any of this.
Right.
In any of it.
Right,
Zero.
certainly not the picture.
Scroll
No.
down
Yeah.
there. Whoever's running this, whoever this is. Hold on, not that far. Jeez,
Whoa,
back to the words.
steady.
So the thing's been flying since 2019 or 2020.
really?
Well, no,
depending on who you ask.
some of the
DARPA has been
DARPA-
flying the mock-ups, but
Which words would you like, sir?
you scroll past them all. So at this point, I'm just going to wing it. It's been flying for a while, and
I'm sorry. I just saw a quote that's hilarious.
we're really
Bring it
proud
back.
of it. Go back. Bring it back.
Bring up the quote.
What's the quote?
Trump scrolled.
Scroll down slowly.
This is
the
this is
math-
hilarious. America's enemies will never see it coming because it's never going to be built.
God.
Yeah. I
Remember
bet
what
it's
you
the
were talking about
47th.
earlier
Isn't
about-
Trump the 47th president? That's probably why it's 47.
Oh my God, you're probably right. Jesus Christ.
Casmo has just hit the I believe button.
I mean, right? I mean, that's as good
put
a
that out
reason as
on
anything
X.
else.
No, dude, Agent 47, Hitman. It's the Hitman.
That's probably it.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's
it's
not.
assassin.
Let's
You'll
be
never
honest,
see it.
dude.
You'll never
Look.
see it when it snipes you.
Listen,
dude,
this whole podcast is going political anyway. It's
how did
because
we-
Trump's number 47.
How do we go from F-22 to F-35? Like who? I mean,
Where are these numbers coming from?
right, that's what I'm saying.
There was a
Like,
lot of real garbage planes between
Right,
those
in the
two,
middle.
and those were the best. Like, literally, we
Preparations
had the
A through
Raptor,
G were a complete
Yeah.
failure.
Yeah,
Preparation
F-23.
H feels better on the whole.
I mean, think about that progression though, right? Like the F-22 Raptor. Like, wow. Okay, we need something else. F-23. Like, nope, that's a swing and a miss.
Well, that's
All the
one
way.
that
Could you
failed.
imagine what the F-34 was? Because the F-35 they took.
What was
Like,
the
so
Boeing?
could you
one?
imagine what was right before
32.
that, where they were like
32?
No.
Yeah,
Trash.
that thing was an ugly. Like if you think Fat Amy's a beefy
Oh,
gal,
I know. We got the skinny version of the Joint Strike Fighter.
Boeing was like, "Hey, watch this.
Hold my beer.
Here's the ugliest thing we can possibly imagine. Plus
The
10."
YF-23 was cool looking.
It was.
Yeah.
It is.
Awesome.
It is.
It is. Continues to be. Yes.
Continues to be. Yeah.
Well, so Lockheed lost. Womp womp.
Mhm.
And
I say
now
we
it's
all lost.
Boeing,
actually.
which means in 30 to 40 years we may see it fly for the first
Is
time.
it going to have
Oh.
doors? Because if it has
It's-
doors, there's going to be a problem.
4
Well,
doors.
hold
more.
on. Let's be responsible for a second. Like, you say 30 to 40 years. Let's predict when a 6th gen fighter is
The
obsolete.
Article
Because
says
when it is, this will be coming online about a year later.
the article says it
Whatever
will,
that
be,
is.
it will be flying in some fashion by the end of Trump's term. So either
That
he's going
is
to
the most
rule
vague-
forever in perpetuity, or they're going to do it about 3.69.
My kid
years.
made a paper airplane that flew in some fashion today. That does not mean that he's next gen, 6th gen capable engineer.
It's a 6th gen
right now.
paper airplane.
Okay. Like,
Was it all computer?
Everything is computer.
everything's computer. I didn't see it coming, if that helps.
That's what she
so
said.
I mean, it was a pretty good Gonky shirt. I just this whole thing, I'm like, can we just I get the need for it and I get the need to drive forward, but
Here's the thing.
I'll just say it. Cancel me. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna interrupt you, Gonky. There's so much fraud, waste, and abuse in our government right now, right? That's being uncovered, like billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars. How has this not been looked into as a contract? Like, I'm not knocking Boeing forever because they've had some really good planes, but they're not exactly like
Name
swinging
one.
for the fences lately. So how it just
Yeah.
this to me reeks of corruption.
Well,
I hope
dude,
I'm
so
wrong.
you know what? We'll see how the B-21 pans out, right? So
That's Northrop
That's
Grumman. That's
I
Grumman
know,
Iron Works.
no, but what I'm saying is that's our aircraft, new weapon procurement, right? So like, obviously F-35 was a disaster. B-21, they're like, this thing needs to be on time, on budget.
Yeah.
So like, I'm really curious, like if that thing performs well and is reasonably on budget, on time, that's
Well, it's
going to
gonna be
reset
because
the
it's
standard.
Grumman.
Yeah, but
It's Grumman though. They're a completely different company. I mean,
as
the
far
Tomcat, the Hawkeye.
Tomcats.
Come on.
as far as
like-
what yeah, but dude, I'm looking more at the process of it, and I get it,
Correct.
dude. I mean, I was thinking today, I was like, dude, the F-47 and season 69, episode 69, they're gonna have a problem with we can't get the seat adjuster to work right in it, more delays, right? Like just like the T7,
The
right?
defog system is broken.
Right,
We cannot
like-
see out the front at any time.
PO heat doesn't work.
We didn't
all
know you
simple.
wanted aircrew in it. That's our bad. So we didn't put a seat. But
mean,
we'll
it's
get
like-
back to you.
A jet
Like,
for ants. It needs to be 3 times bigger than this.
Because if it's a continuation, like another Hornet or the new Eagle EX, they do a really good job, and they do build a good product. But like,
yeah,
when you're
100%
bringing
on that.
T7 is all new, and that thing has
Who
has not been a Boeing.
McDonnell
What?
Douglas.
On their but
Now Boeing.
their continuation. Like,
Right.
like
Exactly.
they've
Isn't the
done well
Apache
with
also
the Super
Boeing?
Hornet.
Yeah.
But it's a continuation of what?
McDonnell Douglas made the Apache originally.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to see a trend here.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The plot
Yeah.
thins, as they say.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I don't
I hope
know.
I'm wrong, man. I really do. I hope that I am completely wrong, but statistically speaking, I'm not.
I'm going to go against
Prove
the
me
grain
wrong.
here and say that
Of course you are.
I, for one, welcome our Boeing overlords and think that this is greatest #1 fighter jet in the history of fighter jets.
It's gonna be huge.
going to be huge.
I mean, in
numbers.
all seriousness, it is nice to see that we're building future airplanes, and it's cool
Hold
that
on. It's nice to see that we have the idea.
well, dude,
Well,
they've been flying, right? They've been flying like X planes, testing the technology and stuff. who knows, man? Maybe that's all the UFOs people have been seeing. Who knows?
Exactly. That was
Right?
Top Gun
All the
Maverick.
news been
Jersey.
probing
They tested them
anals.
all over New Jersey for their threat replication. They flew over the Jersey Shore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
As long as they could survive that.
Yeah, I've seen
all
that
it took.
show. If you can survive the Jersey Shore, you could survive anything. You kidding me? Grew up.
That's
So
what,
what
we call
would-
S-47 situation.
So I have a question for fighter people. What would make something 6th gen? Like what's the big hotness of it being a 6th gen? Like what does that bring to the table? It's just better than the last one, or is there something specific? Nobody knows. Okay, fair.
Yeah, that's
seriously,
so.
Casmo.
It says so
Well,
on the
hold
thing.
on. As the
'Cause it's
resident
one word.
Corvette expert, they moved the engine from the front to the back.
That's
not
that's
in the
why
sixth
it's
gen.
mid-engine
That
now.
was-
So
It's
No,
mid-engine.
that's how we
Canards.
know.
It's got
Well,
canards. That makes it 6th
That's
gen.
Menards.
The
That's-
engine
wang.
is
It's all black too. That's pretty.
that was
6th gen.
gray, dude. That's not
Oh,
black.
sorry.
Well, the engine
It's all
is
gray,
a
dark
black.
gray.
Dude, the engine is a completely new design. I mean,
Is it a scramjet like Top Gun Maverick?
I don't know. I was listening to some nerd stuff
Well, it's
about
fast,
it. earlier.
right?
It's fast.
You said it went Mach 2
It
With
is
their
fast.
hair on
So
fire.
apparently,
Yeah.
speed is a.
in a dive, or like
Look, Mach 2 used to be the thing, and then Fat Amy came around. They're like, nope,
Oh, before that, dude, the Hornet won't do Mach 2. You know
Well,
that.
again.
I mean, straight down, it probably would once.
Cool kids
No,
could
I
go Mach
tried.
2.
once.
I tried.
All right, so here's the question, fellas. Did we talk about this on this show, or did I talk about it on my show? Now it's starting
Just
to blend.
go, dude.
That's
we may
a
have-
shirt.
Yeah.
Did we
Which
talk
show
about this
was
on my
this on?
show?
We talked to somebody talked about the FAXX Lockheed is out. So Boeing is still in and Northrop Grumman is still in, which are the two now who are winners of other contracts, right? The B-21 and now the F-47. So if Boeing, is it going to be Boeing, in which case all our eggs are in the Boeing basket? Or is it going to be Grumman, or all of our eggs? What is happening?
What the hell?
We have
Doug.
completely bored Doug to death.
Control
Or he's
release,
being-
speed off rudder, speed braking.
Wait, what happened?
Oh,
Always Doug.
Yeah,
We heard
pretty
you
sure-
listening to your Britney Spears, Doug. It was pretty obvious.
That was the
That's
video
your-
from the next.
Sure.
Is that your ringtone?
Yeah.
Shirt back on.
It's the video for the next story. I was getting ready.
Yeah. Sounded a
never
whole lot
happened
like
before.
"Oops, I did it again" on your workout mix, but
I thought it
whatever.
was like some. Oh no. Okay.
Look,
Pull up.
Doug, you got to
Pull
put
up.
those two videos on two different screens, bro. Like, be
You
a
can't do
professional.
your-
Professional.
Doug, we're doing YouTube, not your OnlyFans. It's two different screens. You can't.
Don't cross the streams.
nah,
Don't
my
cross-
music has more bass.
Oh, dude.
Dude.
I was
Oh my
making a
gosh.
point, but who cares now?
I told you. Yeah, what were you saying?
No, it's a
I'm just
valid
asking.
point. Is essentially we are setting
Oh, yeah.
ourselves up to either be epic or a failure. Like we're a 1 or a 0 at this point.
All in our eggs in
because
one
you're not
basket,
spread-
right?
Well,
Yeah, I mean,
About
I
an
vote.
epic failure.
Well, we have that potential. I really do believe it, and our enemies won't see that coming. But the
or Doug's videos.
Yeah,
apparently.
I don't-
This
but
audio.
it's true. It's like I agree. I mean, I hope that they do well. Obviously, I would never.
Well,
want our
my other-
contractors to do bad. All jokes aside, but it's oof.
Well, Wombat. So
Scary.
my question to you, sir,
Mhm.
or anybody, but since you're talking, I'll ask you. If Boeing gets the Navy contract, are we going to have another Fat Amy? Like, are they just going to copy and paste and go, here's some beefier gear, and now we're going to start doing the one
Well, I
size fits all
mean,
stuff? Or are they going to
Correct
do
me
a
if I'm
flip sheet?
wrong. Yeah, I don't know because what is and again, this is not a hit on Boeing. Like I'm asking this as an honest question. Like, what was the last thing they developed from scratch in the fighter world? Not McDonnell Douglas, Boeing.
Great question.
MCAS.
The B-17.
I
I
said
don't
the
know.
fighter world. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, and correct me if
Too
I'm wrong,
soon.
but wasn't
Too
this an
soon.
issue with Fat Amy and why there were so many issues? Because they had not developed a carrier-based aircraft in quite a while, and that's why there was a lot of issues early on with
Oh, that
the
was
launch bars and
F-35B that screwed up that airplane.
Well, there was.
Well,
but
the
like
sea,
yeah,
there
the
was
sea
issues with the sea too.
Well, that's true
Big time
too. Yeah,
issue.
yeah. But the
Like
overall
the launch
problems,
bar. Well, I mean, coming from a Navy guy, if your launch bar doesn't reach the shuttle, that's bad because it
They
makes it epically hard to use the shuttle to get off of.
it's not
an
the
aircraft
size of
carrier.
your launch bar, Wombat. It's
I
how you.
understood
In that
that
case,
reference.
it actually was.
Yeah.
It was
You got
100%
to just
the
get
size.
closer.
So I have a ignorant question, but isn't part of that though like all of that was because they were heaping too much stuff on a design? Like the government, like who was dictating that this fighter should be able to also hover and launch from carriers and do this?
Marines.
Like that.
I think
Well, no, I hear
that
you
came
saying,
from
Casmo,
big-
like it's a bigger issue.
Right.
The contract itself, in my understanding, was a
Right.
contract for a joint strike fighter, not a contract for a Navy fighter or Marine fighter. Which you're right, it failed at that point because you have different services for a reason. Like,
Right.
I mean, you have to have people that are currently going to launch and land on aircraft carriers. You need snake eaters that are going to go down. You need people to groom the golf courses. Like, we need all these different services
Hand out towels.
to support each other. Like, when I divert off the ship, I want a cold beer and maybe 9 rounds of golf, holes of golf before I go back to the ship. Like, that's not going to happen unless we have invaded a country and made a nice base with a mall and a gym. Like, these things are, and
Burger
littered
King.
it with
We could put a
PT
Burger
malls.
King anywhere.
Like, I mean, if
24
you don't
hours.
do that. So I
And a
think
green
where Fat
bean.
Amy really failed is yeah, I agree. It was all, hey, let's, it's what we used to say about the Hornet, right? It was the jack of all trades, master of none. Because the Navy made this transition when we went from things like Tomcats and Intruders
Tomcats.
and Hawkeyes and the S3, and we're like, hey, I got this Super Hornet, like, done. And you're like, it doesn't work. So
Well,
Yeah.
have you guys seen that movie Pentagon Wars? It's kind of an old movie.
Yeah.
mhm.
But it talks
Yeah.
about the development of the Bradley fighting
Bradley!
vehicle. It was like oh, it needs a cannon. Like, what? It's supposed to be a personnel carrier. Well, it needs a cannon and also needs missiles, and and they just start adding the stuff on. Like,
Yeah.
what the hell are we building? And that's how I kind of pictured the F-35 development process.
That's one of my favorite movies.
I just hope we learn, again, like I said before with the DC thing, I hope we have learned from things like Fat Amy. Here we
Well,
go. Okay.
dude, here's the thing. You know,
I
it's
got
going
a
to be like
prediction.
F-47
I
is going
can
to cost
hope.
like it's going to be like $1 gajillion.
No, they
and-
said it was supposed to be less. It was supposed to be cheaper than the F-22 because we're going to buy a lot of them and then give the
And Mexico's
ones
going to
to
pay
our-
for it.
Yeah.
So it's
Well,
going to be great.
right. So whether Mexico's paying for it or we are, the thing is, the
Tariffs,
key is
tariffs.
they can't just build like 50 of them. Like they're
No.
going to have to build these in numbers. And then the other thing, I really do. I mean, this is obviously a high tech piece of machinery, but I really do see a lot of value in having numbers. So like not every airplane. The F-47 doesn't need to do absolutely everything, and everybody doesn't need to be flying it. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
have some specialty airplanes laying around, right? Have lots of them actually, because the first day of the war is not every day of the war. At some point, you're going to establish air dominance, and then let
Hopefully.
the
penetration counter error is what it's supposed to do.
there you go.
Let's see. It's already started sounding weird just with
Put that on a shirt.
Yeah. I mean, this is not a good start. Like this reminds me of things like, let's call
You
it a
never
shocker.
know when you're gonna
No,
need-
that's offensive. A growler.
No, but you
Okay,
never
that's
know when you're
better.
going to need counter error.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, dude. I don't know.
I just feel like we could have a defense contractor that doesn't use terms like penetration. Like that doesn't
That's
need
probably
to be
us. That's some
factored in.
weapons school nerds that came up with that.
Yeah.
I wonder, man,
CA.
if in 2050, whenever this thing's going to come out,
On time, on budget.
I really think the landscape of aerial warfare is going to be a lot different.
Dude, think about it though.
Yeah, we're gonna have a
Wow.
$20 billion F-47 going up against
Dude.
$20 drones.
Yeah.
That's
Do
what
the
it's gonna
math.
be.
Gonky,
laser
when are you going to
cannons.
be 62?
I could public math. Come on, mover.
When are you going to be 60?
Oh,
I
Yeah, we
know.
don't math in
At
public.
14
don't
years.
matter about
14
bro.
years. 14 years.
Look at that. See, thanks, Wombat. See,
You're welcome.
Perhaps you could be
no,
Thomas Cruise leading a
Cruise.
team and like GPS is bad or whatever,
I don't want to be team
Starlink
leader,
is
bro.
out. Starlink is
I
out.
am not team leader
F-47
material.
can't do it. And they call in Gonky to fly Fat Amy.
No. See, so here's what's going to happen. They're going to recall all the Top Gun graduates from their ships because they're the least qualified Top Gun graduates currency wise. and they're going to come in, and Gonky and I are going to be the ones that want to argue on who gets to play the piano and who gets to drive the cool old Bronco, because I want nothing to do with flying that mission whatsoever. Because the only true thing that really that mission had for it was somebody wasn't coming back. So no thanks.
Well, we're poking a lot of fun at this thing, but I mean,
I hope it's
honestly,
great. I want it
we're
to
already
be.
all
But
hate mail. Please send to Gonky.
yeah, send it to me, because I mean, dude, this is like the first acknowledgement, right? This, okay, yeah, we have F-47s coming out, dude. It's 25 years from now when it's still in development. It's going to be
coming.
like totally
Coming.
all the details are going to be totally different, man.
I'll be honest with you, timeline wise on how these planes are built, like I hope Trump actually gets to see the plane that was named after him, like in his lifetime. Like that would be nice.
The 7-4 or the
No,
F-47?
the F-47. Like I hope he actually gets to see one before his time on Earth is
Dude,
done.
That
Because
would
I don't
be-
think that's even a
Oh,
chance.
now the Secret Service is coming after us. Jesus, Wombat.
Hey, I want to
meant
see it too,
old
man, because that
age,
that
not-
means
Yeah,
we're going to
old
see it in
age.
just a couple years.
He's old.
Yeah, old age.
Gonky, what?
Old age. No, Gonky missed the whole.
Stop.
It just
Oh,
forget it. He
Stop.
missed.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Gonky is getting us for sure a
Yeah.
visit from the Secret Service.
Catch
Oh,
up, Brady.
boy.
Sorry.
Yeah. Catch up, right?
God. Please, Gonky. Please.
Oh,
I
man.
can't go to jail any harder.
I mean, I think you can. But
Ethor
that's a whole nother-
98 says, "Good evening, gents. The down Periscope crew. After all,
That's good. That was one of the finest naval documentaries.
I've heard it's like Hot Shots for seamen.
It is. It's great.
It's a good movie.
Although Hot Shots was a seaman movie too."
Yeah.
Wes Ryman says Juan's quote was a year of anus clenching adventures,
Hmm.
which is what we're going to have after Gonky's little outburst to the Secret Service. Thanks a lot,
Hopefully
Irene.
they buy your
Thanks,
book.
Irene. I'm gonna need it for the lawyer fees. Tom says canards are lame. F-22 probably. Isat says, "Sorry, I forgot to set my alarm clock, so I'm a little late. Thank you for an awesome show, Turkey A.
Holy cow.
Thanks,
0338.
man. Yeah,
Dude, he's
here every
doing,
week.
Tim
Every
Davies
week,
time.
man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Push
a
it.
Max R says, "Does the Boeing have to return back to its airbase with its crew, or they have to get a return flight?"
Oh boy.
Whap, whap.
CFF121, the concept art on the F-47 conceals the mid-aft fuselage. I suspect they're hiding the propulsion systems, variable cycle engines under development. Now, don't you come bringing this serious talk to this.
Oh no, they're hiding lots of things, like the stuff they don't know how they're going to develop.
It's like,
It's
when
like
you're-
that draw a horse where like the horse is really the head is really good, then the ass end is just
Just
We have a concept of a nose. That's it, but we need to release something because we
we're
said we're
working
gonna
on the
do-
nose right now.
get more dry ice for the release. Get more dry ice. It'll look cool.
more smoke, more smoke. Oh no! It actually looks like that the thing from Jessica Biel's documentary.
Yeah,
He's
that's
in the
probably where they
waterfall.
got the designs.
Yeah, there's
Good
probably some
documentary.
copyright infringement going on.
Probably. So that'll delay it.
Riri says, "Wombat, as a person who's been through it, if no lesson is learned from this tragedy, it's just an insult to those who lost family and friends." Jesus, that was a
I
turn.
mean, yeah, I think that was old for the
Yeah,
DC.
from the DC
thing.
collision.
Yeah,
I'm
and
just
I
going-
agree. I agree.
I'm just going in order.
Yeah.
Gundam Blade says, "Welcome to the Four Musketeers." Five plus Doug's
Well,
K-pop.
Doug's kind of in penalty box right now.
Tom says,
He's
"At least Doug
listening.
didn't yawn at Wombat again." Close.
Well, he's found a way to keep himself awake.
He's
You're
rocking
gonna,
out, dude.
you're gonna feel so bad when
Rocking
you
it.
see the next clip.
We're skipping.
No, I won't.
We're skipping
Doug,
it.
have we
So
just
it never. So it
He's
never
playing rock band.
You can't skip it.
not
He's
happening.
playing a rock band. It's like, this show sucks. What else is over here?
They don't pay me for this.
John says, "Breaking news: Doug's a K-pop fan." Colin says, "F-47 sounds cool and probably need it, but don't we really need stuff for day 60 of a war more plus pilots training, etc.?"
That's what I was saying.
No, come on, Colin. What
Do
are
we
you?
though?
60-day war. We have 20-year wars, dude. Not 60
Yeah,
days.
yeah, exactly.
60
60 days. What is
Just
this? A
getting
war
warmed
for
up.
ants?
Right, exactly. Amateurs.
I feel like our warfighting capability is either we're going to lose on day one or we're going to drag it out for 2 decades. That's
Or
pretty
lose
much
on
our.
On the 20-year anniversary.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, we don't do war that great. Matt says, Gonky Wombat, any meaningful stories of an LSO bringing you on board when you were task saturated but trusted the LSO?
Well, for Gonky, that's every flight. I can tell you that right now. He was task saturated the minute he left the ready room. So I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah. Like
you had
Wombat
talk
said,
downs, I'm sure.
I'm task saturated pretty much. I think every pilot's task saturated coming aboard, to be honest. But I've told my breaking the landing gear story before, and they basically talked me down. But
so it's Paddle's fault, is what you're saying.
No, it's not. They got me aboard before I mortared myself. But no, I was the ace of aces, right? So 5-1 wires in a row. I was going for 6, and our 7 was the LSO in my squadron, and like literally in close, I had a trademark. The Gonky 1 arrival is what they call it. I'd fly center ball in close. I'd crack the wings, right? It was the Hornet DLC, so I'd crack the wings and I'd go straight to blower, because when you crack the wings, it destroys your vertical component lift. That's what the blower is for. I come across the round down burner can staged right into the 1, nice and soft. And 7 saw me.
A DCS video of a
dude.
7 does similar.
7 saw me just getting because he watched me do this like all cruise, right? I was just getting ready to crack the wings, and he just gives me a strong power call, and like I'm like a rat that's trained. Like immediately, like I keep my wings level, power. I do my normal, muscle memory power thing, and I got right into the 3, and so yeah, my LSO debrief, which is usually pretty poor. But I thanked him for that, for keeping me off the ace. But now, dude, it ruined my streak. So I just 5-1 wires is the best I could do in a row. So.
When you came in and you broke the landing gear, did you have any malfunction with the jet, or was it just
me? I was the
I know. I didn't.
Pitch and deck.
Oh, okay.
Big pitch and deck.
I mean,
it was my fault. Pitch and deck, below average, new guy. Pitch and deck.
How long were you in the squadron when you broke the gear?
About 2 months. Three months, yeah. And it was our sister squadron's jet too. So.
Perfect.
Sorry about your jet, bros.
It's a rental. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. You're sorry.
Mover's bored now because we're talking.
Casmo and I have left the chat.
Oh, Casmo actually looks interested. That's the difference of your
I understood that reference.
So,
yeah, that's my LSO story.
Okay. Patrick says, "Why is there no carrier version of the F-15?"
Because the landing gear would pull a Gonky every time.
Cost, I'm sure.
Yeah. You don't need it. I mean,
they had the Tomcat, right? That was their F-15.
Corvette World Rob says, "Just dudes, only dudes."
That's
so many dudes.
It's
so
old.
many dudes.
But it's catchy.
We should have gotten Mace.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's probably inappropriate.
Yeah, it's
5v1. That's probably not good odds.
At least there'd be somebody intelligent to talk.
Yeah,
so that'd be
just
nice.
don't put her picture in the middle there. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it becomes a meme very quickly.
Good thing she doesn't watch this show.
She'd be laughing, dude. She's got a good attitude.
Yeah, come on.
She'd be laughing.
I don't know her, but if she's not laughing,
she'd be laughing. Yeah.
She'd be laughing.
It's still a good thing she doesn't.
And then make us all look like idiots.
Yeah, she'd be laughing, but she's too busy being successful. Right
yeah,
now. So,
she's exactly.
Way too busy. Can't hear you over the sound of her success.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, Doug, send it with your K-pop music.
We're definitely not going to mute it. Is that the F-47?
Oh, it's disgusting.
Oh, where's your sound, Doug? Where's your sound?
The Batman.
Oh, what music? I don't hear any music. I don't hear any music.
He's trying to
yeah, he's like, where's that song at again?
Right, yeah. What song was I playing?
Play it in there.
This is a great. Are we just going to watch this for 20 minutes just on loop? Is that the?
No,
it's a 2-second clip. We're going to watch it for an hour.
No, they've built a whole squadron already. A whole squadron
of
the
parade.
J-36s have paraded past us, dude. Yeah, and there you have it. So the Chinese have built the.
Oh, but this audio works just fine. I don't understand.
Funny how that goes, huh?
Funny how that works.
Sadly, this is to prove the point that the F-47 is made in China, like everything else.
Yeah.
It's Timu version. Cool.
Show the picture of the
Cool
thing.
looking. I think it's a cool looking airplane. Look at that.
You think that's cool looking?
Yeah,
No, Gonky, come on.
I think it's cool,
It
man.
didn't even look like
Catch
it.
up, Rain.
I think I.
What
I
is
think
it landing? It's like 45 alpha in a landing pattern.
They don't land. They just crash.
It's
He-
just a
He's about to shell out. He's like,
Yeah. They make them super cheap, so they don't have to worry about the landing.
It's 5.5 gen.
I think it's.
I
I think it's a
there's
cool looking
words.
plane, man.
This is 6th generation.
Sure it is.
Well, there you go. That answers your
Well, if
question.
you say
Aviation
it.
enthusiasts say it's more likely regional. But don't the Chinese label
These-
things one generation ahead? Like 6th is 5th, 5th is 4th.
These
I feel like
speakers go
all
to
these
11
things-
because
yeah,
we put
these-
it on the knob.
Yeah, this is all just made up. Like, you might as well call
Yeah.
something 10th generation. Like, who cares?
Right.
It's
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
next.
that doesn't
design.
matter. That
It's the
doesn't
next-
matter, right? I mean, that's the fight. Like, if you win
Yeah.
the fight, you're like, okay, cool. You called yourself 6th gen, but you were trash.
yeah.
3 WS10C turbofan engines.
Yeah, it's 3 engines, dude.
Three
It's an
engines?
MD-11.
It's a TriStar of fighters.
The MD-11 of combat.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well, that's cool.
Well,
I'm sure it
well,
works just as advertised. I mean, it's Chinese, and they never tell us differently.
Yeah.
We have added expert commentary and analysis
Anals,
to this
analysts.
discussion. You're all welcome.
the deep intel, dude.
Yeah, other channels would get an actual Chinese person to come in and explain it
Whoa,
to them.
whoa. Why does it have to be?
Because it's a Chinese jet. The deep intel would be somebody like a Slow or the person
Slow.
that shot down the Hornet or a Chinese bomber pilot. We, on the other hand, wildly speculate, make fun of it, and then say this ain't the news or nothing.
Yeah.
Well,
We're really
yeah.
just sitting here talking so you guys can make comments about how you want me dead. Let's be honest. So let's just
Whoa.
get through it. And
No,
oh no,
no,
those are
please.
real.
Okay,
those are
God.
real.
This is-
Those are real.
Maybe
No,
he said
so
nice
dark.
things about China.
this is
I didn't say anything about China.
I did. They're trash.
no, yes, Casmo.
Can we
I mean,
highlight who's speaking like a Zoom call?
yeah, just put a little shiny ring around. Hey, who was that again? Yeah.
Here, we'll do this.
Oh no, don't. I didn't say it. I love Jim.
Oh,
The
Whoa,
Brady
let's not go that
bunch.
far.
Nope. The Brady bunch. Oh God,
Yeah.
I've ruined it.
Whoa,
Yep.
dude, put it
No,
back.
How do I
it's
fix
better
this?
way. It's
There we
better
go.
this way.
Yeah,
Oh man.
well, there's not much to report on that. Yay, they have a flying.
Yeah.
cool.
Thing
Yeah.
flies.
Yeah.
It's better than
Three
ours
engine.
because it flies.
They've told us they have a jet that's really good.
Yeah, that doesn't have a tail. 3 engines.
3 engines.
A little bit of a funky gear. The intake is behind the canopy on top.
Is it
Mhm.
side by side seating for the Chinese
look-
Wizzo?
Sure, they can hold hands.
Doesn't look like it. They had a couple cool shots of the weapons bay. So I mean, it's
Got weapons.
Internal.
That's good.
Theoretically has
That's
weapons.
what you'd want with a bomber.
Right.
Is some level of ability to employ weapons. So good for them.
theoretically. Yeah. So I mean, yeah. I
Don't
know.
trash talk China.
Yeah, dude. They've got their
Looks
version
great.
of F-47.
Their defense
No, this is the
contracting is a lot more
B-21
streamlined,
version.
I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, timeline means something in China.
Or death.
Or
Yeah.
yes.
See, in China, the government runs the production companies. In America, the production companies run the government. So it's
Yeah.
different. You got to get it. You got to get that order of operations.
Nailed it.
Again, we're all very
Cruising.
happy, not suicidal.
No.
Who
not at
do you
all.
feel in charge? It's the Bane.
Do you feel in
Do you
charge?
feel in charge here? Great. We're just doing so well.
A good show.
Hey, Gonky, do you have this one, or was I supposed to do this?
I don't. It's here. I don't care. Do you have it up?
That's what she said.
I've got it. We can try it. I
Hit it.
That's
think
sure.
the delays might be the PC, not the.
Well,
the
no,
internet.
dude. We know the audio works for you, Doug.
Yeah,
So
I think
that
it
was
was
a good
spot
test.
on.
No.
Oh,
Oh no, this isn't PowerPoint. Let us not.
Is it?
Like this. Yeah, dude. We're
Fine.
watching 1 frame per second. We're not doing that.
Hold
No,
on.
I mean that's the
Give me a
video.
second. It is not in 1 frame per second, dude. There's no way
Maybe if
Hold
it was
on.
Southwest, wouldn't have tried to take off from a taxiway.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now. Stand by for remediation. Let me fix this.
I got it.
I got it.
Okay, you got it.
I got it. Nope. Presenter and
Nothing but
Everybody go at once.
professionalism here.
And we want to thank VAS Aviation because
Nope. This one's real ATC, dude.
we want to thank Real ATC.
It's good to know I'm not the only one who doesn't prepare before these shows whatsoever.
and play.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Oh, that's what all these things were.
They couldn't even put the R in the right spot.
3278 right taxi.
Southwest 3278, Orlando Ground, runway 17 right at Hotel 2, taxi via Hotel 2.
Via Hotel 2 to 17 right, Hotel 2, Southwest
Oh, I'm
3278.
already lost.
There we go.
Oh,
Orlando is kind of a
Forward.
mess, though.
That's actual taxi
Ground
speed.
Southwest 32.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. I
was
was
real
going to say,
time.
how do we know that they were taking off? Maybe that was just their taxi speed. I mean, we've all seen it.
We don't have enough clearance.
wait, what? Oh, somebody's trying to push back.
Let me know when you can get to hotel. Let me know when you're able to access the runway. Right.
Why Hotel 2? Why not Hotel 1? Oh, because you had to go down.
3278, stop, 3278, stop. Stop with 3278, stop. Cancel takeoff clearance. You're on hotel taxiway, stop with 3278.
Where was the takeoff clearance?
Yes, sir, we stop.
Right? Did I miss that?
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
I don't think it was in there, man.
You should have used VAS
Yeah.
Aviation, dude.
He didn't have it out yet.
3278, stop, 3278, stop. Stop with 3278, stop. Cancel takeoff clearance. You're on hotel taxiway, stop with 3278.
Ooh, it's gonna be a rug dance.
Yes, sir, we stop.
Dear Chief, no one was as surprised as I.
The right turn back on the Golf. Do you need to cool the brakes, or can you go
Just
straight
normal
to the runway?
taxi
Clean.
speed.
Southwest
Yeah.
3278 affirmative. We're going to need a few minutes here. We'll call you back.
You
Okay,
think?
no problem. Golf,
It's because
short
somebody
Golf
pooped
one.
in my seat cushion, and I need to
I'm
get
gonna
that
take
sorted out.
Cross 17 right at Foxtrot. Contact ground 28 on the other side.
Anybody got a pair of needle nose pliers?
Did they legit take off later though?
JetBlue 546, you can follow the United.
Follow United, JetBlue 546.
I mean,
Well-
I'm sure
Ground
eventually.
Southwest 32.
Or, well, they could have went back and told the
That's what
pilots.
I'm-
I don't know.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, I feel like
Yeah, we need about 30 minutes to break cool.
We'll taxi around. No, cool
Southwest
faster.
3278, Roger. Just,
That's not how any of
pull
this
into
works.
the
It's a
southwest
wind
ramp,
over it.
And you can just hold in the southwest ramp there.
Okay, we'll just.
I mean, at the speed they taxi, I'm sure it would help.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what I'm
Southwest
saying.
3278, just pass behind your company. They're going to be entering the ramp at Golf 1. They're on hotel just off you right now. So just enter the ramp behind them at Golf 1.
Oh, they're into the ramp, so they went home.
Southwest 3278.
So they
We'll
cooled
get
the
away to
brakes
company
and then
we'll pull in. Thank you.
pulled in.
all right, folks.
Wow.
Folks from the flight deck, we just weren't feeling that one.
I know
Um,
that I get a lot of hate and discontent for like being the guy. It's like, hey, look, things happen,
Mm.
right? Like
Mhm.
aviation, the cloud of everything.
Mhm.
I've thought about this one for a while, man, and
Mhm.
knock on wood, 24 years flying, like I don't see how that happens.
Yeah.
I don't see how you do that. Like
tough.
maybe somebody smarter than me in the comments or emails, I'm sure, will tell me, but like they're different.
Yes. Yes.
But they're
100%.
different markings. Like now, the
Yeah.
one thing I will say, because I've always want to back our pilots, being that it wasn't a full length takeoff, you're not going to see 17 right on the runway. I'll give them that.
Right. Well,
Why they didn't do a full length takeoff, I have no idea. But being that it wasn't a full length takeoff, they weren't expecting to see 17 right anyway. So that being said, I don't know how wide that taxiway is, but I bet it's not as wide as the runway. And it certainly has different markings on it. So that's a rough
There
one.
is signage. Yeah.
There's
Black square, you're there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, I always because dude, I've done really dumb things, obviously, some on this show. But and I'm capable of doing dumb things, but I'm like neurotic when I'm taking what I think is a runway because it has happened to people and I don't want to be that guy in the sky bus. I mean, there's an entire little spiel, we got to say to confirm that we are actually getting
Right.
on a real runway.
Same. And I talked to a friend of mine. We worked at my last company together, and he went to Southwest, and he's the one, that I talked to about the stuff. And he was like, I'm really surprised because there are so many checks that we have to do to prevent that. So I'd be very interested to hear like the cockpit
Time
report and what's going
compression. Casmo had to have a factor in this. They just pulled off that
on.
gate.
Sure.
They were right there. Like there wasn't a lot of time, so there has to be some time component to this that causes them
Yeah.
to think
They
that.
started over here and they taxied all the way around.
Yeah, but
Fatigue.
they're not thinking runways until they get out of that exit point, right? And when you're on the ramp, like you're not thinking taxiways and all that. You're thinking like, get me to the point where I exit the ramp, period. And then once you hit that point, you're like, okay, now let's talk taxiways, runways. And then there was some, and that's the first I had heard that, some issue with a plane pushing back and they couldn't clear. So now they're distracted with something. But again, that's a rough. I mean, there's significantly less.
And were they like in a window of time where they had to take off? Were they already behind schedule? I don't know.
I don't know.
Because it happens to all of us, right? We all get cramped for time. It happens.
100%.
So, yeah.
And then you don't know the dynamic between the crew, right? I mean, because like that's the one thing I'll brief is like I'll look at the FO and be like, dude, if you or whoever do that, if you ever feel like I'm rushing you, tell me and I'm gonna set the parking brake because I don't care about the time. Like because there's no emergency takeoffs, not in this world.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, it's almost like they're at Midway, right? I mean, those guys in that business jet, they didn't know they crossed a runway, right? I mean, right. And these guys didn't know they weren't on a runway, right? I mean, so it like both cases, you kind of scratch your head, but you're like, well, these guys aren't dumb. Like, I mean,
no, they're not.
Like something
caused it,
or a series of somethings led to this. But it is
it's usually that, right? It's a series of things. It's not just one thing. It's there's cascading effects that have built up, and this is the second and third order effect of that is oh crap, we're in the wrong spot.
Yeah, dude. All I know is that's got to be a. I mean, dude, it's like I always put myself in their shoes. I'm like,
oh, dude. The best. I think the best meme or GIF I've seen out of this one was like the Southwest crew calling the chief pilot office, and it was a clip to the Hangover where he's on the phone and he's like, "We effed up bad." And I was like, "That's exactly. I mean, that's how that call goes." Like, you're like, "There's not going to be a whole lot of good." I hope I never have to make that call. I may just walk off the plane and that'll be my last day at the airline. Just be like, "We're good." But that's a tough call to make. I mean, whew. So I hope they learn something from it, and by they I mean the whole airline. Right? Luckily, nobody was hurt. Some people were late, which is that's not the worst thing in the world, but that's a rough one. But nobody got hurt, thank God.
The funny one I saw was you guys can't see it, but can't have traffic on final if you don't take off on the runway.
There you go.
I would just like to welcome back our Southwest training partners.
That's right.
Seeing themselves on our show once more.
That's right, dude.
But you know what though? Like
not
this
to
is
be on the show.
But this is the way it works, right? Like when your company has something like your buddies in the other company start sending you memes like immediately. Like it's before you even know what happened. Like what is this about? So it's all in good fun. No one got hurt.
I mean, do we even know they were trying to take off? It just looked like a normal taxi.
That's what I'm saying. That's a normal Southwest taxi, right?
62 knots, right?
62 knots.
That's nothing. The auto brakes aren't even kicking in yet. Come on.
Casmo, you were talking about you flew the 800, right? The NG.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, the ND, the navigational display, shows the runway you're on. It shows a runway. And you get the runway center line. So
I'd have a hard time believing it wouldn't. I mean, I'd have a hard time believing a modern airline.
Like MCP VSD ND is like my current call out. MCP VSD ND is checked runway X before you take the runway. I mean, it's a pretty serious breakdown. I don't know that like even all the factors, there's no excusing it at all.
Yeah, it's rough.
To attempt to take off on a taxiway as a professional airline pilot with two people. Yeah.
I think Wombat hit the nail on the head, though. I think it was a time compression type scenario.
Yeah, there had to be some pretty large external factors because it's a pretty big mistake.
Yeah.
But yeah, looks like we're back, mover.
Yeah. Welcome back, our Southwest
Yeah.
training partner.
Hey, it's us again.
Don't end up on the
talking
show.
about
Too late.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey. So what else are we going to talk about today? We got some chats from the audience, probably.
Yeah.
Elias says, when POTUS said we'll dumb it down before giving it to other countries, Boeing stocks went down. Dassault and Saab stocks went up.
To the moon.
Bet they'll still buy it. I bet they'll still buy it.
Same.
Daniel says, what do you call a Marine wearing an Air Force uniform? Artificial intelligence.
Ouch.
Bazinga.
Oh, I love it.
A moist bum
Ooh.
says it loves Wombat.
There you go.
Appreciate that.
And
It's not the first
I think
moist
Wombat
bum to
loves a
love you.
moist bum.
I think
That's a fact.
I think
That is a fact. True story. We just met, but you know me.
Heat Seeker says money towards Wombat hood sticker on for the race car. She uses zoomed picture of a slightly concerned looking Wombat. Too soon. It's too soon. Daniel says, was Harrison Ford flying for Southwest? Did he land or take off?
I mean,
He landed.
I will say, if we're going to try to be,
right?
yeah, if we're going to be glass half full here, at least it was the takeoff, not a landing on the taxiway. That usually ends up being.
No, they
yeah.
landed on. They tried to land on a bridge.
That could be bad. Yeah, they did.
But that was it a taxiway on the bridge or the runway?
You know what they need is helicopters, because that seems
Yeah,
like what
that'll
they're
fix it.
trending toward. Is not landing on any kind of runway or
Just land
taking off
wherever.
of the runway. You land wherever if you got a helicopter.
The beauty
Maybe
of
Boeing
the
can come
helicopter.
up with like a joint strike fighter version of the 737.
Yeah,
Southwest could be like the
A
Marines.
VTOL. Yeah, they can VTOL their way wherever they want.
We'll drop you right off at your house.
Taxiway speeds.
Easy
Well,
Wombat.
when the
They
door
gotta-
blows off,
right.
you can wear a parachute and just go right out to your home.
They got to
We'll swing by.
They got to perfect the door plug first, dude, before we get too
Yeah.
crazy with the 737.
Okay, let's be honest. When was the
terrible.
last time a door plug blew out of a 7.3? It's been a minute. Okay, there's been plenty of
At
stuff
least
in
a
aviation.
minute.
At least a minute.
Yes.
Oh,
All right.
terrible.
Justin says it would be cool to have a Russian or Chinese military pilot on the podcast just to tell us about their experiences. Would y'all ever let them on?
Well,
I don't
of
think
course,
it's the you
It's-
part
yeah.
that's going to be the issue there.
pretty. Yeah.
It's a limited quantity available.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
There'd be
Probably-
one less right after the show.
Social media
I'm
is
pretty
not
sure.
really their forte.
No, and I can't imagine the attention you draw. Like, hey, I'm searching for a Russian or Chinese fighter pilot, preferably somebody flying the latest and greatest.
Yeah.
It's like,
For my podcast, it's just
yeah,
for clicks.
yeah, it's
It's just for clicks.
just for
It's
clicks.
nothing
For clicks.
For the
nefarious.
super chats. We're just here
I
for the
want
super
real.
chats.
I just want real deep intel, and they're going to be able to give me the best.
Yeah, we should get that guy that jumped out last week. See if we can find him.
jumped out.
Yeah.
Oh,
JP.
yeah,
Bunch of-
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, boy. Blue Rex says, remember that time Air Canada flight was lined up on an approach to taxiway at San Francisco?
Yes.
We do.
Yeah,
But we love Canada.
we do. We do.
51st state.
Thank you. Direct it all. Please. I don't want any
Take it-
more of that.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Casmo, you have grabbed the baton.
Oh man.
I don't give a shit.
I was the leader, but now
It's your turn in
Casmo
the barrel,
has the
buddy.
baton for now.
Hey, speaking of Canada, great segue. The Canadian TSB has released their preliminary findings in the CRJ Delta Air, lines crash.
Oh man.
Endeavor.
Yeah, let's
Well, operating DBA as Delta
Correct.
Air, lines.
Business says.
See, it says right here, Delta Air, lines, flight 4819 was coming in fast enough to set off an internal alert before it crashed at Toronto's Pearson International Airport last month. Investigators say in a preliminary report that has not yet determined the accident's cause. So basically,
Definitely
they
with
were
some causal factors. That's for
they
sure.
had a high descent rate, 1,100 feet per minute. The manual says you should probably be at 600. And they had a little bit of a crosswind, so they had right wing down. And when they hit the The brace said no, thank you, and the gear retracted, and then the wing separated rapidly and unscheduled.
Correct.
And
Disassemble.
that actually saved them because the fire was then behind them. But it's too early to draw conclusions. There'll be a full report in 3 to 4 business years. However,
I have a question. Can you scroll back up, or are you still? Sorry,
I
was
was
there more you
gonna,
want to
but
talk on
you
that?
know what? It's fine. You got it, Wombat.
No, I can't. I have a valid question that I don't
Pump the
understand.
pass. Shake the take, pump the pass. You have the
Hey,
aircraft.
Go
Can
on.
you? Well, can you go up a little bit? Because
I'm
I
not.
don't.
Look at me. See my
Okay.
hands?
Less than a second before touchdown, the plane's rate was 1,110 feet per minute. The flight landing defines a hard landing
Light manual.
above 600. Okay, so I read that wrong the first time, and I think you may have misspoke. 600 is not normal.
No, it's hard landing.
That's a hard landing. So, because I'm like,
Depends on who
dude,
you are.
600 feet.
True.
Well, as a Navy guy, trust me, I've op checked this on the old Skybus. Like, so 1,100 feet a minute. That's legit. Like that's, and then
3 Gs.
and then,
It's
yeah,
3
if they're
Gs.
3 Gs.
3
and
Gs,
then if
top
you're
of
putting
Ts,
it
no
down
WCs.
on one landing gear, it sounds like first. It's not really. I'm assuming, never flown an RJ, so I'm basically an expert. I'm assuming it's designed to land on both mains at the same time, right? So that's definitely going to cause some things. Wasn't there an issue though? And I know I'm speculating now, but wasn't with these RJs there was a corrosion issue, so that compounded it, where there was like maintenance directives on these things because they were early corroding in the main landing gear. Somebody told me that, so it must be true because now it's on the internet. So so there's going to be a lot of causal factors here for sure. Yeah, that's a rough one. Like I don't.
Do you
1,100
want to
feet a
finish the
minute.
article, or are we just going to stick?
Is
on
there
this
more?
one?
Why didn't you
ass
just
more.
finish?
Go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead,
I-
Mover. Finish it, man.
No, I don't want to now.
Well, now don't be all poopy pants. People are going to
Keep
think
going,
man.
we're fighting. So
Delta Aircom
Um,
Alliance.
Guys, don't fight.
no.
Don't-
See,
don't
now
click.
there's a beef.
Scroll.
You've started the beef.
Scroll.
Daddy's
Douglas,
hitting mommy at the
scroll.
dinner table. It's just weird now.
All right,
Are we
there it
going to
is.
okay.
So, well, are you? Why?
No. Go ahead. Because I have a point to make on this, but I want you to
Scroll
make
up,
your point first.
Up. Thank you. The first officer was the pilot flying the plane. At the time of the crash, she had 1,422 hours of flight time, including 418.7 hours on the type involved in the incident. The captain was the pilot monitoring. He had 3,570 hours of type total time, 764 hours. Doesn't that seem a little low for somebody hired in like 2009?
Which one was hired in
He
2009?
was a sim guy.
He was a sim guy.
Yeah. He
So
was a sim guy hired in 2009-ish, and she was hired in January of 2024.
Mhm.
So she seems
do you-
about right.
Yeah, she's
What
on
do
a
you have-
restricted ATP. Is
That's what I was
she's
going to
on.
ask.
Yeah,
What- I can't
1,500 is
remember
what
the
you need,
hours.
but you could do 1,000 on a restricted.
And so they got
she
the-
has
Okay.
plenty of hours.
Yeah.
They got the sync rate sounded at 2.6 seconds prior to touchdown, around 50 feet.
Great.
And then they basically hit the ground at 3 Gs, and it didn't go well. And there it is.
But could have been way worse.
Yeah, I mean, they could have.
I mean, like you said, if it didn't collapse the gear, it probably would have been way worse. Because if it collapsed both and it just stopped, potentially causing the fire. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that
Yeah.
they were moving and the fire was behind them probably
Well,
saved
that
them.
and the roll, I think, just sort of absorbed some of that,
absorb it.
you know, that
Well,
impact.
and the wing
and-
came off too. So
Right,
that's where the
exactly.
fuel tanks.
I don't know. I'm
Right.
going to disagree with that because I think if they had hit both mains, they'd have bounced and gone around.
Okay.
We practiced that in the sim.
Yeah.
I think the
it's
side
possible.
load is what collapsed the gear, and if
Well,
they had no
that's
side load
possible.
and hit
Yeah.
They did have
hit
it was
flat.
Yeah,
We don't know what it's rated to absorb. That's a lot of
there was a lot of
Not
cross.
1,110 apparently.
right.
So
Well, but what to Mover's point, like if it had been level, would it have absorbed that and would they have been able to go around? Or would it broke stuff they gone around and then they had a trouble where they had no gear or, you know.
Or hydraulics.
I mean, look, they all right, or no, they all live, so I mean it's the right,
Yeah.
you know, it ended the right way in a weird way, but
well, and that's the thing, like, and I know I'm gonna get heat for this, but I don't care because I've read so many comments on the first video we did on this. And people are like, oh, well, you know, it should be better. It should be better. Like, could have been worse isn't a valid point. And blah, blah. It's like, well, no, it's not a valid point. I'm not saying we should train to it could have been worse. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, thank God it wasn't. And we can learn from it and we can adapt our training. The thing, and I'm going to soapbox it, Mover, and I'm sorry because I didn't know we were talking about this, but I am very pissed about the comments on this particular video. Not yet on this one, but the one we did last time, because nobody wanted to listen. The keyboard warriors did not want to listen about the facts. They wanted to immediately throw out 3-letter acronyms and say that it was all because of that. This is DEI hire, blah, blah, blah. Both of those pilots were fully capable in their seats. Their hours, totally respectable for the seats they were in, 100%. I do like that you brought up the captain, sim instructor. I mean, if I pulled up how many hours I physically have at my airline in 10 years, you'd be like, that's it? And be like, because I'm in the sim a lot. But that doesn't make me less qualified or more qualified. Like, that's just, in an airline, there are checks and balances for somebody that is a sim instructor to make sure that they are current and they are qualified when they go out. I had to do things before I left the simulator to make sure that I was good when I went out on the plane. I didn't accumulate as many hours because I was in the sim, but there's that.
Yeah.
For her, she was on a restricted ATP, which is not uncommon. That's been around for a very long time.
That's right.
She was more than qualified to be in the seat. She had more than enough hours to be in the seat. I mean, 400 and something hours at my airline gets you off probation, right? 400 hours was what got us off probation. So, and that's that time where you're like, hey, are we going to keep this person or not? So, like, to me, that is a check and balance where it's like, hey, you're good. Go ahead. Sorry.
I have a question for you, Wombat,
Please.
while you're on your soapbox.
Yeah.
So are you saying that if I were, for example, an older fighter pilot who had gone to Top Gun school, I should not get on Fox News, for example, and talk about said mishap and the fact that they never should have been paired together, because that's unheard of in the society for which I may have never flown as an airline pilot?
Yes. I would also say that if you are hypothetically that person you just described, you should just stick to the good that you're trying to do and not get clicks. But that's another story, because there were civilian people that came and jumped on this and posted this crew's face all over the internet immediately. And I don't think that's right either, because there were lies, there were things that came out that she had just passed the check ride and all this. That's BS. Yeah. And I'm so sick. Listen, I do not want us in any industry that involves safety or otherwise to hire people that are not the most qualified for their job. That being said, let's make one thing perfectly clear. Just because she was a woman does not make her a DEI hire. She was qualified to be in that seat, period. Those don't go together. Preach. And I'm sick and tired of these keyboard warriors that think just because it's a female, all of us have served next to some amazing females in our time over the last 20 years that could fly circles around the best pilots. They were some of the best officers, some of the best leaders. I'm so sick and tired of this crap. Just because you're a female, you're not a DEI hire. And the thing that blows my mind is I fly with people who are females who have now been convinced themselves. They're like, oh, I have to watch this because people are going to think I was a DEI. I'm like, your resume is insane. There's no way you're a DEI hire just because you're a female. That's insane. And the latest I've heard, and this, if I ever see it, God help me, I'll probably lose my job. Now passengers are treating female pilots in the terminals poorly because they assume they're all DEI hires.
Yeah.
And that is atrocious. Yeah. I'm hearing these stories and it's like, people have to freaking stop. They have to stop. There are checks and balances. I promise you, as much as we joke about everything, there are people in these positions that are looking after these things. Mistakes are going to happen. This is not new. If you're going to sit here and say, oh, well, the Toronto and the DC, there were females involved. How many fat, white, old dudes have been crashing airplanes for the last 100 years? Like, if we're going to stereotype, like, there's a reason there's more women involved now. It's because they've actually started getting them into aviation and they're interested in it, right? That's a good thing. Unfortunately, with that comes this. I'm so freaking sick of it. And again, I'm not sitting here saying that we should hire people that are less qualified, because I don't agree with that. But don't put those two things together. Don't think every female you see that is wearing a uniform, whether it's a military uniform, civilian uniform, that's a pilot, was hired because they were female. Because not all of them are. Some of them would blow your freaking minds with their qualifications. And it's insane. Like, it's really, really insane. And it irks me, man. It really does, because it's not fair to people who have worked hard to be where they want to be.
I agree 100%. I remember the first thing I thought of when I saw the Toronto crash was like, God, I hope the pilot's not a female, because I could see already all the crap, right? You could already kind of see it. And I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
Well,
it's such BS.
I'll play devil's advocate just for a
Go
second.
ahead, dude.
Not get us canceled. This is what all I'll say is the reason why everyone's so triggered. DEI, if you think that every accident is because of DEI, you're wrong. If you think that DEI doesn't exist, you're wrong. The problem is, and Wombat, you said it in more or less words. The problem is when governments, companies, whatever, just make one standard. And if you don't do that, what it does is like Wombat said, it takes away from those who have earned it. I have trained dozens of female fighter pilots and Wizzos. Dude, it's not my job to determine, should you be here, dude? Like, my job was to train them to the best of my ability, right? So like, whether you're going for an interview or you're in airline training or whatever, the standard is the standard. All those women met the standard that I had to train. I never downed one of them. The only student I never downed a student, but I washed one out, and he happened to be a guy, right? Because he wasn't good, right? So like, unfortunately, in the last 20, 30, 40, I don't know, man, or since I've been an adult, like, I'm not going to sit here and turn a blind eye to, is there a different standard? Because I've actually seen two standards, and, I'm half Vietnamese. My high school guidance counselor pulled me into her office when I was in high school. I went to high school in little town, Ohio. I was the most culturally diverse person there. And she told me,
which is saying something.
She said, on every application that you ever fill out, you need to mark on there that you're a minority. And I'm like 17, right? I'm like working at the pizza shop, lifeguarding, chasing girls, whatever, racing dirt bikes. And I'm like, what? She's like, you need to mark down that you're a minority. I'm like, well, why? She's like, because you'll have special treatment. And I'm like, at the time, I'm like, can I just get back to like homeroom? I got stuff to do. But I always remembered that. And Wombat, I don't know if you remember, you were in the other flight, but even in pilot training, Advanced Air Force Base, two FAPEs walk into the room with a clipboard, and they say, do we have any minorities in here? And I raised my hand, right? I just, oh yeah, it's me and two other, the two other bros in my flight. We raised our hands, and like literally they did it, and they turned on and walked out, and like it happened so fast, and like there was silence in the room, and you could tell, all the non-mixed breeds were looking at us like, what the hell just happened? And then it made me feel bad. I'm like, no, man. Oh shit. I was like, I want to earn this, like I want to earn this. Like, don't like, I was like, what did I just do kind of thing. So
you stole my jet slot is what you did in that moment. So I've been dealing with DEI for a long time.
But
you should have been the Hawkeye pilot is what I'm saying.
Yeah. So you're not going to sit there and tell me that DEI has not been a thing, but I think, like Casmo says, and Wombat is out of control. The first assumption, and to go, dude, to be in a, to look down or, scold female pilots in airports, that's pretty bad, because honestly, man, you have no idea, what they're not walking around with the training records for you to review. Right. So it's like, give everybody the dignity that they deserve. And like, listen, if they make a mistake, if I make a mistake, I'm going to have to pay the price, the consequences. Right. So like, look, dude, if you bend some metal, it doesn't matter whether it's a man or a woman. And guess what? The Toronto flight, the first officer, she may have been the worst pilot in the world. Guess what? Why didn't the captain, when he heard sink rate, command to go around? why didn't he take the aircraft like we heard? We're not going to talk about tonight, but the wing scrape, the breaking news from last month, right? So hey, that airplane started to get away from that gal, and the captain took control as he should, and they went around and landed. All right. So guess what? The buck stops with the captain. So you can point the finger. If you're a DEI, junkie, you can point the finger all day at the first officer, female. But dude, at the end of the day, buck stops with the captain. He's the one in charge. He should have done captain things and prevented that from happening. So
I don't disagree. And I want to make one thing very clear. I think you do know this. I just want to make it clear for the lack of hate mail. Like, I don't condone DEI hiring. I don't think that's right. That wasn't my point. My point here is I don't want people to assume. I had this. I haven't told you guys this, but I'll say it because I don't care, because I'll stick up for this. I was on a flight recently. I won't say how recently. And it was the FO's landing. It was a female FO. She was awesome. Her career would blow the four of ours together out of the water, the things she's done. Okay. And Mover
doesn't buy it.
You keep saying
you're not old
you keep talking about all
or fat enough to have that smirk on your face when I make that. She had an amazing career.
You say somebody blows something and I can't make a face. That's the second time you've done that. And I made the face both times. Has nothing to do with anything serious. It is just me being Mover. Continue.
I'll allow it.
So she is standing at the door saying goodbye. Okay. I'm up in the cockpit collecting my stuff because I want to go home and see my kids. And a passenger, and you know how the Airbus is, like, it's a bit of a hallway there. Like, he had to purposely make this. This is not like, I went off a 7.3 the other day and I was like, my God, this whole plane is just all scrunched together. I don't know who designed this piece of garbage, but you have to actually try to get to the cockpit in an Airbus, right? You're not just going past it. He literally leaned past her and said to me in the cockpit, "Great landing, Captain." And I looked up because you could tell it bothered her. And I go, "Hold on a second." I go, "Come here." And he's like, "Oh," he thought he was, poor guy. I hope he's watching. Douchebag. He literally was like, thought I was going to be like, "Oh yeah, let's talk. Tell me how great I am." Typical pilot mentality, right? And I go, I said it very quietly because I did not want him to lose any face. But I'm like, I'm going to make one thing here 100% clear to you. It was her landing. She is qualified to be here, and she did a fantastic job. And I highly suggest that you shake her hand and thank her for the landing before you exit here and learn something from this. And he was pissed. He looked at me, and I stood my ground, and he shook her hand, and he was like, "Great landing, ma'am," and walked off the plane. And that is my issue with this. My issue is not, listen, there should be one standard. I've said that my whole career, right? This is, people's lives are at stake, right? Nobody cares if they're in the back of the tube and stuff's going sideways, who's sitting up front other than their qualifications and can they get them on the ground. My issue with this whole thing becomes we are so triggered by this that we're like, it has to be this. It's not. And people sitting there spouting off how, they know what the qualifications are. I'm like, dude, I'm in the industry and I have to look up half the qualifications. I'm like, what's a restricted ATP? Like, what do you need? How often do I have to go to recurrent? Like, how many landings? There's so many. So I promise you, from your mom's basement eating meatloaf, you don't know the qualifications. And if you did, why don't you get off your butt and become a pilot and actually help out the situation? So that's my issue. Do not treat my fellow pilots poorly because you're an ignorant buffoon who thinks you understand the hiring tactics of airlines. That's not to say that there aren't things that need to be fixed, but I think this is frankly more of a training issue than it is anything else.
It says in the Bible, don't judge, man. It's bad. Just don't judge.
It's quoted just like that as well.
Yeah, pretty much.
The end of the day, the whole DI thing is to get people through the door. You still have to pass the training. Okay. True. And I keep saying this, like, there's a reason that you have to broaden the hiring and say, well, we only want the best. Well, that wasn't happening. Hence, you have to broaden who you invite in. So I see some people commenting, and I don't know if they're being smartasses or what, but talking about, well, I never shouldn't have said the unmanned cockpit. Yeah, because they're trying to encourage fucking women to come work for them.
Exactly.
Like, if they don't feel welcome, they're not going to try. And guess what? There's a fucking pilot shortage. Yeah. So if you've got perfectly qualified people who can do the job, why would you not want to hire them? So Stop being a dumbass. But I'll get off my soapbox too.
No, you're right. You're 100% right. Like, I get it. I laughed at those things, right? I mean, they're funny. Like, it's just like, well, this is ridiculous. But that stuff's been going on forever, and it's targeted for a niche market. Like my daughter, when she's older, Gonky's daughter, when she's older, like, do you really think she's going to want to go into a male-centric, egotistical, pathetically closed-minded
I won't let her.
work environment? Well, no, I'm just saying, like, they want to feel welcome. Like, any of you keyboard warriors, like, do you go to a job where you're like, you know what? I'm pretty sure if I go to this job, people are going to belittle me, treat me like garbage every day, and think that I'm lesser of a human. Sign me up. Like,
Right.
yeah. So, but that's my point is I agree. Like, these are all just marketing tactics that they use because there is a pilot shortage. That is a real thing. And we have to get people on board. Right. And I want the best of the best. And sometimes the best of the best is, like, for instance, the flight attendant that I taught, who from the middle of COVID realized her career was in jeopardy and decided to leave the airline on her own accord. And in 3 years, from 0 hours to being a first officer on the Airbus, she did it on her timeline and got it done and was one of the most badass pilots I've ever trained. She worked her butt off. I mean, and she was good. Like, there were things she did in the sim that I had to look up in the book to be like, is that like, oh no crap. That is like, she was good. She's not a DEI hire. She's somebody who worked hard and realized she wanted to do something. She had a goal. So that's my biggest issue with this. God help you if I see you belittling a female pilot in a terminal when I'm walking through, because I'm not going to let that go. Like, that's just not going to happen, period. And shame on you for doing it if you're one of those people, because that's ridiculous. Like,
This is really silly.
it's so dumb. Like,
Your turn, Mover.
Mover, we'll let you have your show back. Sorry.
yeah, sorry.
Climb back up there. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
there you go. You get back
There you
on your
go.
soapbox.
But I
Well,
just
I'm
put
just
Gonky right on
I'm
top of me.
reminded, if documentaries can teach us anything, first of all, Kathy Ireland showed us that women can be kickers and do very well. Airwolf showed us that women are great pilots and do very well. And
Firebirds.
so did Firebirds.
Firebirds,
I mean,
yeah, of course.
Firebirds showed us that as well. But you really, back then, sexually harassing the female pilots, plus or minus.
Yeah,
There's a different
we
time.
fast
There's a
forwarded
different
through that part. Mover.
Yeah,
did
we
fast
just
forward.
choose to ignore that portion of our history.
We did
That's all.
fast forward through that. I've talked about it. Casmo, you were talking about Lobach, Rebecca Lobach earlier, her qualifications, and I had Austin Roth on, and he knew her. He knew her, and when it first came out, I was the first one to say, you are stomping on the graves of American service members before you know anything. You just heard female, and that's what we went for.
Yeah.
That incident, a lot of people knew her. She was very good at what she did as an officer. A lot of the White House aid stuff wasn't true White House. It was social work that, social aid just to go get squares to help promotion, stuff like that. It was stuff she was doing not really off duty, but as not part of her primary duty. So
additional duty.
But people glom on to stuff like that and then spit on their graves, and the families are left holding that, and dealing with that loss. For me,
there is a reason that DOD did not release her name in the same amount of time that the other names, and that's because I know that from inside knowledge.
Yeah,
the families did not want her name go out because they did not want her dragged through the mud.
Yeah,
do you blame them?
And it happened anyway. People did it anyway.
It was gonna happen. Yeah.
I know female pilots. I was, was talking to one the other day, and we were making the joke of, she's had a rough flight with an instructor that wasn't very keen on doing non-standard stuff. And I said, well, the joke was, you better hope you don't crash because you're going to get blamed. That's what she was thinking. She's like, I'm going to, if he makes a mistake and I'm there, it's me, because that is the world we currently live in. And no person of any gender or any nationality, race, creed, origin, anything, nobody should sit there and be like, if something bad happens because of something I can't control, it is my fault. We always say when something like that mishap or whatever, or anything, we say, hey, let's see what the facts are. Let's wait. I mean, how many people are saying that the Southwest guys that we just talked about, they're going, well, I can't fly with those guys, they're going to take off from a taxiway. I mean, do you realize the severity of that? If they had not been told to stop, I mean, we do takeoff data, we run the numbers, do you have enough runways, the condition, the taxiways aren't made for that. So
Nope.
it's not
It was
like
a lot closer to really bad than people realize.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like we're all immune from making mistakes if we meet X, Y, and Z criteria. It's the great equalizer. Aviation, racing, high performance activities, the military, it's the great equalizer because every day is a day that something really bad can happen. And the only way to mitigate that is through training and experience. And you hope that you get enough training until you get enough experience. And then you fall back on your training when that experience doesn't lead you in the right direction so that you execute safely. So regardless of who you are, that's the same baseline for everybody because it's unforgiving. It is absolutely unforgiving. And sometimes, yes, we have pushed people who are not ready for reasons that we probably shouldn't have, but that is across the board. Every story you hear, you can probably name 10 examples of one, 10 examples of another, of somebody that was pushed for some reason other than, hey, they were completely qualified. So sure. I mean, if they're doing that in terminals, I mean, the pendulum is swinging, right? We went from, like Gonky talked about, hey, DEI, we shouldn't just hire based on that. But you can't go and say that everybody that was hired is a result of that because that is absolutely false. It is false. They had to get through the same training. They had to do all the same stuff. I hope that we find a middle ground and center and just everybody chill out and stop being idiots because social media has made us all stupid. I mean, just absolute morons.
And fearless.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, it's because you can't get punched in the face.
People have said things to me over social media that I'd challenge them to say to my face. I would love to hear them say it, but they won't.
You can't get
and that
punched
guy
in
in
the
the
face.
plane proved it. He wasn't going to say anything to me, and I was respectful.
Yeah.
But what's he going to say? Like, to a large airline captain, is he really going to step up right there? He'll never fly again. Are you kidding me? And all he was doing is being disrespectful to the person who got him to his destination 20 minutes early, safely. Like, I have zero time for that.
Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the hat.
Yeah.
I know.
Anyway, sorry. I know that's not where you wanted to go with that whole thing, but it's really been bothering me because
why?
Yeah, it's constant. And it's
constant. We've got
you go back to our previous video. That's all it was. DEI. I'm like,
can we please just get one more topic in? Just one more.
Something fun. You have something about magic
and dragons.
Look, I got three options. We
already talked about the F-47
at London Heathrow. We got the dude forgetting his passport. We got the Airbus that can't land. Which one y'all want to talk about?
Oh, I want the Airbus that can't land because for reasons. Because I don't know anything about this and I want to learn.
Because you're a Boeing fanboy, dude.
I'm a Boeing man.
Am I doing that one?
That was clear.
Bombardier man.
Hold on.
I'm a big enough man. I've flown a lot of Boeing products.
Got it.
I'm a Bombardier.
This is VAS Aviation. This one's the VAS Aviation. Okay, so this is our friend at VAS. See, real-time communications. Oh, we lose a guy when we do that.
What is this? Shit. Why weren't we doing this before?
I just discovered it. I pressed the button. Okay, so it's nice day. Light winds, 10 statute miles, clear skies, 3008.
Your audiobook, guys, calls it Metar.
Good evening, Gemini 62136 on heading 305.
Where's Gateway? Where's this?
Phoenix.
Gemini 6136, Roger.
So,
runway 12 center, clear to land.
Runway 12 center, clear to land, Gemini 6136.
Gemini 6136,
Oh, Willie.
remain
This
at
was a
about 2,600
deportation flight,
until
I
you
guarantee it.
drop off.
To Willie? You're sending them to Phoenix?
Can you say again for Gemini 6136?
Phoenix Gateway was one of our bases
remain at or
when we
above
did
2,600
deportation
until
flights
you join
on my
final.
last job.
Okay, remain at or above 2,000.
We can't
We've
talk.
been doing a
People
lot
get
of
mad.
Final, Gemini 6136.
Listen. Oh, you can talk now because it's 10 times speed.
Gemini
As soon as I talk.
6136, base descent approved at your discretion.
Roger, Gemini 6136.
I don't understand the
He
words.
said confidently, Roger.
Tower Gemini 6136, go around.
They're going around before they even get to the
Gemini
airport.
6136, Roger. Would you like to remain in the VFR traffic pattern with me or go back to Phoenix and pressure
Oh
radar
boy, I
vectors?
couldn't do that.
Radar vector Gemini 6136.
Gemini 6136, fly runway heading, maintain 4000, contact Phoenix departure on 124.9er.
Yeah, stay in the pattern.
They're an A320.
Yeah, he decided to
Gemini
go back.
6136, again, fly runway heading, maintain 4000, contact Phoenix departure 124.9er.
They're still doing their
Okay,
go around
we're heading
toga, flaps 20, positive rate, gear up.
And 124.9er. Gemini
In the middle of their
6136.
go around, didn't he?
Gemini 6136, Phoenix departure, maintain 4000.
Maintain 4000, heading 123 for Gemini 6136.
Gemini 6136, see a reason for go around.
Unstable, sir. Gemini 6136.
Gemini 6136,
They were on
Roger,
base.
pay attention.
Copy. We1 radar vector, runway 12 center, Gemini 6136.
Gemini 6136, Roger. Turn left heading 340, vectors runway 12 center, climb maintain 5000.
Climb maintain 5000, left turn heading, can you say again the heading?
Gemini 6136, heading 350, 350 on the
Heading
heading.
350 for Gemini 6136.
Ludicrous speed. Go.
Gemini 6136, turn left heading 220, vectors base.
Left heading 220, Gemini 6136.
Gemini 6136, turn left heading 120, expedite your descent, maintain 4000.
Okay, expedite descent and
Oh, there they are.
left turn heading 190, confirm.
Gemini 6136, turn left heading 120, intercept the runway 12, final approach course.
Left turn heading 120 and expedite descent 4000, Gemini 6136.
Gemini 6136, affirmative, maintain 4000, there's VFR traffic off the right, 500 feet below. At 737, off the right, 1000 feet above. Gateway Airport in sight now, 12 o'clock, 5 miles.
Turn.
Confirm. We have the airporting
Is
time.
this nighttime?
Gemini 6136, clear visual approach from 12 center, contact Gateway Tower 120.6.
Thought it said it was day.
120.6, Gemini 6136, good day. Tower
0330.
Gemini 6136,
What was it?
final runway
Let's say.
No.
12 center.
Gemini 6136, runway 12 center, clear to land.
There was VFR traffic and all kinds of stuff on there.
Yeah.
We
that's true.
unable to land. Can you? We request there some truck mine. We need more truck mine for the Gemini 6136.
What's a track
Gemini
mile?
6136, I can't understand what you
Longer
need, but runway
final.
12 center, clear for the option.
He wants more
I
distance.
never want to be
We
clear
need
for
radar
that in the
vector
airlines.
wait for runway 12 center, Gemini 6136.
What?
Gemini
Cleared him
6136,
for what? The
understand you're
option?
going around and you'd like to go back to Phoenix approach for Gemini 6136, I can't understand what you need, but runway 12 center, clear for the option.
We need radar vector
Touch and go.
for runway 12
I'm sure
center,
you,
Gemini
you
6136.
can full stop, you can touch and go, you can low approach, just do something.
Phoenix
To your
approach for radar
airport.
vectors.
Yes, ma'am.
Gemini 6136, fly runway heading, maintain 4000.
We're heading maintain 4000, Gemini 6136.
Gemini 6136, contact Phoenix approach on 124.9er.
So
Phoenix approach guy just threw his headset.
yeah. So pause this real quick. Let's try and recap. So what is he asking for? He wants more distance.
Track miles.
Yeah, he said like
He's-
track miles, but he wants a longer final. is what he-
Yeah.
Right. So I'm thinking it's speed.
Yeah.
Probably
Well-
slam dunking him. It's probably high and getting fast. So
Well, they said 4,000. What's the altitude out there?
it's mountains and stuff.
Yeah, no.
So, but here's the secret
wanna say
sauce
it's like
about the
2,000.
320 is it is a very slick aircraft until
Yeah.
you're at flaps 2.
Oh, yeah.
Like the go down, slow down does not work unless you're throwing the gear. So
Sure.
so if they're used to longer finals or if they're used to a pacing that's different and they're getting I mean, it doesn't even have to be a slam dunk, but if it's just shorter than they're used to,
Right.
yeah,
That's what I'm thinking. And Gateway is fairly close to Phoenix, to Sky Harbor.
Mhm.
So they are going to bring you in tight. So
Yep.
Mesa Gateway elevation is 1,300 feet. Call it 1,400 feet. So they might be
that-
getting a little slammed in there.
Yeah, possibly.
May I continue?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Please continue.
And Casmo, if you could use stop tape
Finish
in
approach
the future, we'd appreciate
that's
it.
the words that I know.
Heading 123, maintain 4,000.
Gemini 6136, finish departure, roger, climb, maintain 5,000.
Climb maintain 5,000, Gemini 6136. 2,000.
Gemini 6136, turn left, heading 360. This is again for the RNAV, requesting the visual approach, runway 12 center, 360 on the heading.
RNAV and then not.
Gemini 6136, turn left, heading 320.
Left heading 320, Gemini 6136.
They can request the RNAV, right? They can say, no, we don't want the
Sure.
visual. We want the
100%.
RNAV.
Gemini 6136, continue to left turn heading 180.
Supervisor.
Left heading 180, Gemini 6136.
Gemini 6136, we're going to get you nice and low for a left downwind for 12 center so we don't have this go around
Nice and
again.
Yeah.
Copy, sir.
So that's what it is.
Yeah. They're getting slam dunked.
Gemini
They're getting
6136,
it's too
turn
tight,
left heading 120.
which is resulting in a slam
Heading
dunk.
120,
Is
Gemini
not a problem.
6136.
Gemini 6136, descend to maintain 4,000.
4,000, Gemini 6136.
Support his work on Patreon.
Gemini
Again for
6136, Phoenix approach.
Uh-oh. Doesn't look like it's over.
So how many go rounds is this? Two?
Gemini 6136,
This is
Phoenix
their third
approach.
approach.
Go ahead, sir, Gemini 6136.
Gemini 6136, what are you doing, sir?
Uh-oh, the plot thickens.
Heading 3.
Is that the airport right there?
Heading 360 now.
Yeah. You're going to want to be.
Gemini 6136.
Can you move
your
our
last line
bubbles?
Heading was 120 at 4,000.
I have no-
Turn right heading 120 now, please.
Right,
No.
heading 120.
We could
Gemini
swap your
6136.
bobbles.
Agent 641, Phoenix approach. Roger, reduce
Oh.
For those-
210 knots. Having a
For those
little
not in
difficulty with
aviation,
an
an
Airbus
ATC
down here.
call of what are you
210 on the
doing
speed,
is
we'll get
not
you
a good
going
call.
here. Expect to
Just
Not a good
go left
indicator.
downwind for 12 center.
No.
There we go.
Gemini 6136, turn left turn heading 300.
Frustration setting in now.
300.
Yeah.
Gemini.
Well, that's a different voice than
Gemini
before. So I bet this is
6136, descend to
supervisor.
maintain
Or shift change, one or the
3,700.
other.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Dude's like, take over. I gotta smoke.
Yeah.
He threw his
yeah.
headset.
Gemini
Right in the
6136, when you make that turn, the airport's going to be at your 10 o'clock and 4 miles.
We have the computer problem, and we just need to hold at the present position, please. We have a computer problem.
Gemini 6136, you said you have a computer problem and what?
Yeah, we have the computer problem, so we need to either extend downwind or we hold at the present position. Gemini
How are you going to hold
6136.
present position if the FMC's not
Gemini
working?
6136, you can't enter a left downwind from there?
Yeah. There it is.
See, I,
Heading
The pilot
300,
ship.
wing,
yeah, but
Gemini 6136.
they've proven they can't do that yet,
Can you
right? So
accept an approach?
Stand by.
The weather has never been better.
Gemini
Yeah.
6136, are you able to accept an approach?
You can see the airport from space, sir.
Here we are accept the approach Gemini 6136.
Okay, Gemini 6136,
yeah,
let
they're
me know when
fighting
you have
snakes
the
in the
field
cockpit
in
there
sight,
for
10
sure.
o'clock
that
and
thing.
3
Sea
miles.
snakes?
Looking for the airport now, Gemini 6136.
And I bet I know what went wrong.
Okay,
with the
Gemini
computer.
6136 is going to be out the left-hand side, 10,000-foot runways.
Oh,
Jesus.
Looks like an airport.
Airport
Runway.
It's gray.
Gemini 6136, cleared visual approach, runway 12 center.
Maybe the approach runway 12 center, Gemini 6136.
Maybe stop giving them the visual. Just a
Gemini
thought.
6136, contact Gateway Tower 120.6.
1206, Gemini 6136. Good day, sir. Thank you for your help.
We'll talk to you in a minute.
Yeah.
Our good evening,
See you on the way back.
6136 on heading
We'll see you in lot 5.
3100.
Talk to you in a minute.
Gemini 6136, Gateway Tower, extend down and I'll call your base.
This is DEI as in Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. They're just doing their NASCAR laps.
10 base 3610.
Oh,
Gemini
man.
6136, left base approved, runway 12 center, clear to land.
Left for runway 12 center, clear to land, Gemini 6136.
2740, turn left southeastbound. I will call your next turn to the downwind.
Left turn southeast on your car, next turn to the downwind
Oh
2740.
my god.
Yeah,
That's a
dude's like,
different
no
voice.
problem, man. Like, I'll
2740, when able, rejoin the midfield right downwind.
When I would rejoin a midfield right downwind
All those
2740.
PA-28s.
341, begin base, runway 12 right, short and clear to land.
Begin base, 12 right, short and clear to land, 341.
where?
One eternity later.
And don't we all do that, right? When you hear that one plane that's being a problem, everyone else, like, you step up your game and not try to miss
Oh, yeah.
anything with the radio.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
all right, roger that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gemini 6136, begin base, remain 2600.
Yeah, so they're way off the screen now, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see them on my screen.
They're up at
Legion
Yeah.
641,
at this
gateway
point.
tower, maintain 3100.
They went
make
to
left
San
traffic, I'll call
Diego
your
and
base.
turned around.
3,100 left traffic,
Plenty of room.
641.
740, once you join the midfield, right downwind, extend, I will call your base.
Join the midfield right
You
downwind.
said this was Conair? Maybe the prisoners have taken over.
Gemini 6136, begin an immediate left turn inbound to final traffic.
Oh,
Ahead
boy.
and to your left 2 miles north on altitude 2,900, type unknown.
Turning to the final right now, Gemini 6136.
Thank you.
We're
Gemini
moving time for the
6136,
majors,
again, runway
boys.
12 center, clear to land.
Clear the lane away, 12 center, Gemini 6136.
I
Thank you.
don't know about you, but I get paid by the minute here.
Legion 641, join about a 4 mile final, spur your base to final. You're following Airbus on a 4 mile final now, runway 12 center, clear to land number 2.
Third line number 2, Eastern side lead,
Shortly, it'll be
641.
number 1. Don't worry.
Why don't you rejoin on his wing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fix everybody's problem.
Gemini
Too low,
6136,
Cougar.
expedite exit traffic 2 mile final, Airbus, turn right at Papa.
Oh,
Expedite bucket,
you're gonna
right
be
turn
tired if you're
Alpha,
doing that.
Gemini 6136.
Gemini 6136, right turn Papa, sir.
Right turn Papa, Gemini 6136.
who's AAY?
So, did he make it?
Allegiant.
Legion
Ah,
641, go around, fly straight out,
Oh,
press and
no.
runway heading, maintain 4,000.
no Airbus can land on this field.
Go around, straight out, Legion.
Ah,
wait,
it's
did he-
Allegiant, dude? They're only getting paid $20 an hour. You
641,
can't
do
send them
not
around. They
vehicle
can't
traffic
afford it.
pattern or with Phoenix approach radar vectors.
I will stay in the VFR pattern.
Wait, so he landed now, but now he's caused Allegiant to go around?
Yeah,
he's on the runway
Fly
still.
straight out for now,
He won't
maintain
get off the runway.
3,100.
Yeah.
They're kissing the ground because they finally own it and they don't want to leave it.
Gemini 6136, cross runway 3 to your left, approach at Papa, contact ground.
This is bad.
Crossing way,
Dude, they're just building
30
time.
left,
This is what.
Papa, and contact ground, Gemini 6136.
This is a money making scheme.
This is
Good evening,
Ponzi.
Gemini 6136. Crossing way 30 left on taxiway, Papa.
Gemini 6136, gateway
So-
ground taxi via Alpha to the ramp.
Alpha to the ramp,
Ew.
Gemini 6136.
Gemini.
Okay, so
Gemini
that was the
6136,
captain that's been
oh,
flying
full
this.
pilot deviation. Advise you contact Phoenix approach. And
What
have a number,
deviation?
advise ready to copy.
Ruh-roh.
Yes, sir.
Gemini 6136 will be Phoenix approach. Phone number is 6.
Oh, I guess when they were doing the Hayaka vectors on their own.
306.
Self-navigating.
Copy your number, Gemini 6136.
So this was the captain flying, though.
How do you know?
At
Because
some
the
point,
voice
because the
didn't change.
voices.
The voice didn't change on the ground.
Which approach?
That's a good point. Yeah. So if the voice didn't change,
The
I
voice
didn't
change.
hear from the first to second, though.
Maybe
It
they
sounded
was
like
like
the same
4
dude the
hours
whole
ago.
time,
Okay.
unless they're close relatives. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So that was
what,
the captain.
what I'll say is my guess is there's definitely a language barrier of sorts going on there. There's definite confusion there. What I said before about the Airbus being really slick until you get to flaps 2. So if they're coming in tighter than they're used to, then that's an issue, right? You have to plan for it. And then additionally, what I think the computer problem is, and Gonky back me up on this, but if you go around and don't
Toga.
sequence properly,
Sequence.
Yeah,
delete
Toga
that.
tap.
then
points.
everything dumps. Everything dumps. So the computer problem could have been that literally their moving map was a PPOS, what we call like where you're at.
Mhm.
That's not to say that that's not fixable. It's just to say if you're not expecting that, like that can be challenging. And if there's this confirmation bias where you expect the systems to work a certain way, and if all of a sudden stuff's not,
Well, yes, absolutely. Thank you, Brian. 100%.
Brian says
everything's-
everything's
so-
computer.
Well, and this
So-
goes back to like do pilot shit, right? So look out the window and do a visual approach.
But we don't
And
train
I
that
s-
way.
Right, exactly. And that's the problem, right? Because too many guys, like, even they're shooting the visual, they want to back it up. Oh, you got to back it up with ILS and the RNAV and all this
Well,
stuff.
that's
It's
a
like,
good
just
plan,
look
though.
out the window and just.
That's a good
Well, it
plan
is a
to
good
back it
plan,
up.
but goddamn, can you not do it without it? Like,
It sounds
on
like
your
they were doing
second
it without it.
around.
I mean,
I know, I got it, but that's my point. Like, that's trash. Like,
Yeah.
you should be able
It's-
to. You should be able to look out the
That
window.
is
to
the
cut
training
stuff.
issue. Agreed.
Yes.
Agreed.
Yes.
So they didn't, and Wombat, you could back me up on this, but so like
Sure.
Mover said, they did their go around on base leg. So that really wouldn't be a go around. That would be a discontinued approach. And the procedure is different to sequence the flight plan properly. But
Bingo.
even if it dumps, I mean, I know where I'm at flying the Airbus. You trained. I mean, you can activate the secondary flight plan, which puts it all back in there for you nice and neat. But at a minimum, kind of like
where it won't actually.
yeah, but at a minimum, like Casmo's saying, if you notice the first time they went around, they're like, you want the visual or do you want the go back to radar? And they're like, send us to radar. And that when I was listening to this the first time, I could sympathize a little bit because having never flown anything other than a fighter as far as jet powered airplanes go, when I first started flying Airbus, I wasn't taught how to do visual approaches. I mean, we did it in the sim, and the sim is it's not like doing it in the real plane, It's just like in the entire training that I did to get my ticket to say you're a A320 FO. Never once did I have to actually hand fly the airplane with the thrust levers. The first time I ever did it was with people on board, and I was like, "Hey, man," and you're supposed to be able to fly it with the auto thrust not working. I'm like,
It's an MEL,
yeah.
MEL.
I'm like, God help us, right? So I
Mhm.
practice that sometimes, and it's a kick in the brain. So when I was listening to these guys, I'm like, they probably, like Wombat said, they probably messed up the box on that first discontinued approach, and then they weren't confident and just having whoever's not flying, man, set me up. It'll automatically set up a control fix 5 miles out, and all you gotta do is hit it 1,500 feet, 5 miles, 3 degrees. You're golden. Nobody taught me that. I kind of figured that one out on the fly, right? So, but I know as a new A320 pilot, I was always, every time they would like, hey, you want the visual, or would you like the ILS? I'd take the visual, but I'd fly the ILS, because being a new guy, like still getting OE done and stuff, like I was like, man, I need to build this sight picture in my head. So it screamed to me a little bit of either hesitancy to deviate from the automation, which that's in that airplane that they teach you don't ever deviate from the automation. Autopilot should be flying this thing all the time, which is kind of, I mean, I don't know. It's I think it's scary.
So a little bit of context for what I'm about to say. Like Global X is the company that took over the company that I used to fly 7.3s with, right? So I know the kind of operations they're doing, and it's not like normal airliner stuff a lot of places. So they're going like smaller fields and things and just kind of doing things different. So like in the 7.3, I always, even to this day with flying the corporate jets, I put in the ILS, I put in the RNAV, I shoot a lot of visuals, and I had to shoot a lot of visuals in that last job too, which I think was somewhat uncommon. And so I feel like that I agree with you that the training necessarily isn't there for bigger jets to do the visual. But you sometimes they get forced into it. And I feel like that's probably what happened here is they got kind of forced into a situation that they just weren't comfortable with. And then, then it, like the panic sets in, right? On your second go around, that's like, you're like, oh my God, like what's happening?
Yep.
And then you're monkeying around with the machine. And like you said, you probably have to resequence the approach, reinstall the approach, everything. So is again, like we talked about earlier, right? It's multiple things that are now building up and cascading. But it's rough to watch.
Not a good look. Mover.
But they landed.
They did land.
I don't know anything about an Airbus.
Well, I mean, what do you
amazing as a snack tray and auto trims.
I think they made a ton over their whatever min guarantee was for that.
Sure.
They're out there making $45-$50 extra. Whatever the
easy
their pay is. So visual approaches, I was thinking about this, in the 7.8, right? We do now as part of our sim profile going into Nice, there's a RNAV that drops you off, and then you have to do the base to final turn, and it's all visual, but we do it with a HUD. you know. And I remember like the first time we first
Right.
looked doing it, you know, the captain's like, okay, I'm going to spin in the heading bug, you know, I'm going to give you vertical speed. And it's like, dude, I can put the thing on the thing. Like
Yeah.
The HUD.
your
Yeah, the
your
HUD.
heading bug spinning is not right anyway. Like it's lagging.
Right.
Like I can make this happen.
Yeah.
I think it's not something that when you've been flying these aircraft that you think about a lot, because
Right.
typically we don't fly approaches like that. So I can see, Casmo, to your point, you know, these general aviation-ish quote unquote airports are a lot different than, you know, flying the sequence into DFW or Miami or whatever.
Yeah,
'Cause
you've done the arrival. You're laid
Yeah.
out on the ILS 10 miles out. You know, you're
Yeah.
you're sitting pretty. Yeah.
I would be
Mhm.
curious as to what caused the go around on base. And, you know, whether they just weren't lined up or they were looking at it going, we're not going to make this. We need to go around. 'Cause
speed.
that
I bet that was
started
the speed.
the change, but okay, drop the gear. You know, I
Yeah.
mean,
I will
Sure.
tell you, and I don't know how it is, Gonky, at your airline, but 10 years flying the Airbus, people are afraid to throw the gear. And it's one of the things I
Really?
taught. I
Not
go,
us.
okay,
Speed brakes,
10
baby.
years at a profitable airline, they're afraid to throw. No. But people like they're afraid to want to throw it. And I'm like, man,
oh, dude.
240 knots. That's all I
Yeah.
need to know. If I can get
Right.
below 240, the gear's coming down, I can fix a lot of screw ups. And I would brief that and teach that. And you know,
It's only
like we would
240
do
gear
the,
speed.
yeah.
What was a 7.3 Casmo? It's a lot higher than that.
No, I think it was 250. I think
Was it
7.3.
260?
I mean, it's actually
250.
technically 250, but we.
Oh.
put it
But
down.
yeah, you find that fudge factor.
But,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's the whole point that I'm getting at is it's like have that number in the back of your head, because if you are slam dunked or if you're just behind or there's other things, all this stuff, everything we've talked about tonight, there's been external factors. There's things going on. There's none of these are two pilots just sitting there perfectly quiet watching the mistake happen. That's not what happens in the cockpit of any airplane. So yeah, that is something. But for some reason, people are afraid to. And I've watched. I've flown with plenty of people over the years that are like full speed brakes, and I'm like, the airspeed's not like your speed's not going down. Like, and it's like, do you want the gear? And you know, and then we have the talk, and they're like, oh, okay, yeah, that works. I'm like, yeah, it's the biggest speed brake. So, you know, we explain it and it's good. So I think they're probably reluctant to do that. And I think it was probably a speed energy state, if you will, on the first one. That would be my guess. Speculation. But
that's what we do.
All right.
Speculate.
Well, good talk. It's 9:16 Central Time, 10:16 Eastern Time. Some other numbers for everybody else. So let us look at our chats and call this a night. Dylan says, any updates on FAXX or T45 replacement? I'm tired, boss. We were just talking about that. We don't know.
No.
Lisa
45s are
says,
down. I know that.
yeah, Lisa says, Wombat, question. Could the snow plowing make landing strip narrower than usual and blowing snow make it hard to judge landing?
Stop. Lisa has a real question. Stop.
Said a lot of trigger words for old Mover in that one.
Yeah. Lisa knows how to make a fighter
People are like,
pilot pay
Mover, you don't
attention.
agree with all these. I like, look, dude, I glom on to certain words. It doesn't matter what the context is.
So to answer your question, Lisa, the snow plowing wouldn't necessarily make it narrower because I don't think they would. I've never seen a runway where they would plow it not to the edge. I will say blowing snow is the phenomenon in aviation that can mess up your sight. And I saw this. Probably the worst was when I picked up a plane out of Germany and we landed in Keflavik with blowing snow, and it throws. I'm not saying this is what happened. I have no idea. I wasn't in the great state of Toronto. I have no idea what happened up there, but it's a joke. If we're not going to do a mental health minute, I need to
ruined. I was about to make a joke about your humble brag that you remembered your passport, but damn, dude.
But I have no idea what happened up there. All I'm saying is that having dealt with blowing snow on landing, it can give you the perception that you can miss your flare point that you're used to. So that is a factor. That's not an uncommon thing. So whether that was a factor in this one or not, don't know. Wasn't the
You're going to
pilot
get
line.
shanked right in your hat next time you fly into Canada.
Yeah. That's why I've been avoiding it, because I don't think I'm allowed.
They're going to be like, oh, you got your passport? Not anymore.
Yeah. The
John
Mounties aren't going to let me in.
says, Wombat, go.
I think he wants
Just
me to
like
get off
that.
the show. Isn't that how he wants that?
Irene says, thank you, Wombat, for sticking up for females. Emergency services has the same thoughts. Females have to work twice as hard for everything. Okay, nothing to say there. Okay, great.
No.
Renegade Actual says, thank you, Irene. What is the descent rate on a carrier for a F-18 / Echo 2?
Same. It's the same.
About
600
600. Yeah, 600 to 700.
Yeah.
See, I said it was normal.
No,
it's
that's
normal.
that's for a carrier landing.
It's for a carrier.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Approaching 1,200 feet per minute, you're going to break the airplane.
Clearly.
Yeah, you
I've
vouched
checked
for
this
that
myself.
But yeah, it's the same. The only difference on the carrier that changes is your approach speed, your come aboard speed, which in the Charlie was what, about 160, 165 knots?
141.
What is it?
141.
Exactly 141.
Nah, depending on your weight. 141,
I was going to say, I'm
Samsonite, I was way off.
Yeah.
Starting to figure out why he had problems landing.
Yeah.
This is stuck to that one number.
Yeah.
I have 3 bags and 4 bombs. Nope, 141.
Yeah, nope, 141. I can only fly 141.
If you're coming over the ramp at roughly max trap, you're going to be 141, 142 right in there. At least in the Lot 10 Charlies that I flew.
Now, I will tell you, in a Hawkeye or Super Hornet, it's in the 120s. So, and both of those have the same come aboard speed. So it's just.
Did you say 161? That's like a T-38 trying to land on a carrier.
That's the indicated. Obviously, your ground speed is going to be less because the carrier is moving 30 knots.
Change whatever. Iced tea. Got to do the
iced
tea thing.
That's why.
Just keep the ball centered. No iced tea in the Navy. Keep the ball centered.
Yes. No.
John says Gonky is mixed. I thought a golden retriever mixed with a Labrador is pretty much the same breed.
Mongrel,
face.
Oh man, if I could tell a story right now about god,
Plexi. It's called resting mover face, Wombat.
Resting mover.
I've seen a lot of that tonight.
That's funny.
Colin says Wombat Shack. I really hope more people defend those female pilots in the terminal. What? So you're saying they can't defend themselves?
No, they can.
Guys like the one you mentioned need to be humbled and often.
Agreed.
Nothing. Wombat just got quiet all of a sudden.
We already know Wombat's feelings.
Mark says 4-star episode tonight. Not quite 5.
We got to work on things.
A good way to spend a Monday night, though.
Thanks, Mark.
It was a real-time review.
I like that.
Yeah. My Uber rating has just.
Did you see your view count?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
Is it good?
It's because of you two guys, man.
Hammerkey 1169. Enroll all the female pilots in the federal flight deck officer program. Over time, it might cut down on the number of douchebags. There are times when that might be advised.
Yeah, it might.
Heatseeker says, I think the last fighter purely built by Boeing was the P-26 in the 30s. Had no canopy.
Perfect.
So they may stick to their roots, and the F-47 has no canopy. Issue the pilot stealthy goggles and scarves. As long as it opens, if they do, it opens the correct direction.
I like conical Levritic glasses on.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that idea is not as crazy as some of the ones they probably had for that plane. So it's right up there. It's on the idea board, I'm sure.
Justin says, I wish I was a DEI hire because even though I'm straight and white, no one of any race, gender feels safe with the idea of me piloting an airplane.
That's funny.
Justin.
At least he's honest.
Crazy Pete says, must-see movie for Mover and Casmo.
Yeah.
Sky Heist on YouTube starring Larry Wilcox as LAPD chopper pilot, 1975. No kidding.
Sky Heist.
Never heard of it.
No kidding. I got to watch that now. I follow Larry Wilcox on the Twitter.
On the X.
Yeah,
it's X.
Yeah, don't get canceled.
Aaron Z says, anyone who's flown a Bonanza knows how effective gear is as a speed brake.
True.
That's it. That's the show.
That's the show. That's all we got. Came up with like 5 shirt ideas.
Yeah, dude. We got a lot of work done tonight, man.
Didn't really help anybody in mental health, but definitely probably hurt some mental health.
No,
We talked about
I think it was.
We started
it was
it.
helpful.
We began
Nah.
with mental health.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mental health needs work.
Dude, all
It'll
of
get
us, all,
there.
all of us, man.
Yeah.
Every day. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Thanks. Hey, Casmo Wombat. It's the first four ship.
Warship.
That's right.
Yes,
It's a division.
excellent.
That's right. It's a
So you can do
division.
it this-
That's right. Look at that.
I don't know what's oh boy. Now it's just
Mover's pushing buttons, dude. Mad dog. Yeah, no. Thanks guys for coming.
yeah, thanks for
Yeah,
having
yeah,
us on.
thanks
I
for having
wasn't
us.
I wasn't sure how all four of us were gonna work, but Mover, it worked out pretty good.
Worked.
Yeah.
It
It
works.
was like no, it
I
didn't.
mean, I spent half the time hanging out behind the Mover and Gonky. Yo.
and I
By
was peering
design.
over the.
Dude, that's how we bring
Cosmo's
introduce
like,
Doug.
Well,
That's how we introduce Doug. We put him behind the banner.
I know.
Perfect. You got to lower the banner a little bit so you can see him.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Funny man.
Oh, here you go.
Yep.
Navman for the win. Fact is right here. 25 years in the Navy. Biggest badasses I ever trained were female. Less of them, but I am a girl dad and I expect a lot.
Yeah. I'm girl that too. Sweet. Well,
I'm just saying that your gender does not dictate how good or bad you are at an aviation job.
No, I don't
That's
know.
all.
Jared says that Gonky's the only one that can get laid here.
The 4 kids I have proves that's not true. But all right.
Well,
yes,
Gonky's also
Casmo
married,
Casmo
so-
has Casmo's gone 2 more times than me.
At least 2 more times. That's
At
right.
least 2 more times.
And then you're assuming it's 100%. You know, success
Casmo,
rate.
come on, it's 100% success rate, dude.
I didn't know we were doing mental health, but okay.
Yeah.
It's not. I'm a realist, man. Look, I've seen the double standard 1000%.
I'm not saying there's
and
not a double
I
standard. That's
didn't say that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is it really sucks for those who've earned it.
Yeah. 100%. Like,
'Cause, I mean-
that's crappy.
there's always going to be a double standard. It's the point is it a systemic double standard? And I don't believe that there is.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, it's cool. Good times, fun times. I got to go check my
another one.
email to make
Hold on.
sure.
We got another one. Dre says, thanks, Dre. Thanks, Mover, Gonky, Wombat, Casmo, and DJ Doug. Great show. Appreciate
DJ
y'all.
Doug.
EJ joke.
And then Navman would like to know Shellback,
Yes.
Gonky, and Wombat.
Golden shellback.
Did you have to get naked and pig fat?
No, dude.
No,
there's a lot of.
that's
There's
just,
What are we talking
wait,
about?
It's a
you
hazing
hit-
ritual for seamen.
You hit the
When they
equator.
cross the equator, they
We
go
did the
naked
Equator
and
International
wrestle
Date Line.
pigs and pig fat or something. I don't know, some kind of.
we did both.
Oh, you
Jesus
did both,
Christ.
dude. Let me tell you, it is
Golden shellback, very rare.
legit. It's legit hazing.
Yeah,
Does that mean they
Yeah,
peed
there's-
on you, Wombat? What's the golden
No.
part?
only when I
think
asked.
I think so.
It's International
Involves
Date
pee.
Line and Equator at the same time.
So it's like if you're out of the area code, it doesn't count.
2 tack-ins.
2 tack-in
2
rule.
tack-ins. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
It just hit me.
So-
Sorry, dude.
Yeah, it's fine. It's late.
I'm moving.
But,
I'm moving
yeah.
at like approach speed right now.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was. I joined my
PowerPoint
first
here.
140.
squadron.
141
Yeah.
knots. He only moves at 141 knots.
Exactly.
I joined my first squadron. The first thing I heard is like, "New guy's going to be a golden shellback. This is BS." And I was like, "Oh, what's a golden shellback?" And then I was like, "Oh
Yeah.
my
it's-
god!" Like,
Oh my God.
it was
Steve
horrible.
says what it is.
Yeah, that's
Like
one of the
belly button
things you
of a
do.
fabric. Get the.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Hey, it's called "You're welcome for my service." There, Casmo. All right.
All gave some, and some clearly gave all.
Someone's got to defend that equator. Damn it. That's what it
Yeah.
takes.
Thanks for everything.
Yeah, and first of all, that wasn't the only thing. It was
Oh,
yeah,
no,
it's
it's an
legit
entire-
hazing.
dude, it's a
It's
whole
legit.
day.
It's
an
a whole day of hazing.
It's
It's
like
awesome.
it's an entire day of like the fraternity shenanigans.
100%.
But times like 5,000
Yeah.
people on the ship. I mean, you can't hide either. I tried hiding, it didn't work. So
Sounds like a really big orgy.
it's a wild
No,
time.
there was
man.
no.
With dudes.
Time.
It was not.
Dudes.
Just dudes.
5,000 of your closest
Only
friends.
dudes. Yeah. Only
Just dudes.
guys.
Wow,
Wow, this
sounds
is taking
great.
a turn.
I'm proud of
This
you.
is
You need to
after
talk
hours.
about
That was
Wombat for the mental health minute.
What?
Show me on the
You know
doll.
what? Hey, your jealousy's starting to show.
Wog
right?
Day?
Wog Day, yeah.
Right.
No, dude,
Wog
this
Day,
goes
yeah.
back to the perspective. You know, I said when things are going rough and you hear somebody else's story.
No, dude, it's not. It's
You're,
not.
you're picking up
It's
mover
not
spirits
like
right now.
It's
Yeah.
a lot of like.
I joined the Air Force.
Dude,
Remember that
Well,
golf
listen.
course you were mentioning?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I obviously Wombat. I went through it too, and I mean,
Yeah.
it was. I look back on it, and it was a lot of fun. I mean,
Yeah,
dude,
stuff like that.
it's either that, dude, is either that or a day of sitting through briefs or
Exactly.
Sure.
like
Exactly.
Okay, so licking mustard
I got
off of a fat dude or watching a
That's a bit
PowerPoint
much.
brief. I'm gonna take the PowerPoint brief, dude. There's
what's the
no
brief about?
scenario. I don't care. I
What
do
month?
not care.
what month of cruise are we in here? Because that
Right.
dictates
Yeah.
what I will do. How many of these mindless?
That's a
no
shirt
fly
right there,
days?
Gonky. What month of cruise are we in? There's your next
That's
shirt.
a-
Well, and it wasn't
Write that
like
one
I mean,
down.
there was a lot of like feats of strength and things like
Yes.
that. Like it was a lot.
Who
of
could
stuff.
eat the most hot dogs?
Why
and
are there fat
Wait,
guys on
is
the
it
ship?
pushing the fat guy off?
You've been
Why
out
is
too
your
long,
fat
Casmo.
said no more fatties? So
Oh,
that's
fair.
not even going to be
You've
allowed
been out too
anymore.
long, Casmo. Things have gotten different in our military.
Yeah, yeah. But it was. I think the thing that I look back on and think it's cool, like all that stuff, whatever. I don't care. Like it's, dude. I've done dumber stuff myself. Like it's just a cool tradition, you know, that goes back to the Navy's early days of like sailing the seas. Like there is, and honestly, as an aviator, it's probably the only real tradition that we experienced. You know, I mean, so
That's cool.
excuse
like
me, but it's it goes back, and it's just part of. It's a rite of passage. It's no different than whatever. What they do, like in the Navy, they cut your tie when you solo. For us, they threw
Air
us in a
Force.
tank.
Yeah.
Right, in frozen water in March, which was cool of them. Like it's just all those rites of passage that make you.
It's cool.
whatever.
Yeah. Please don't take it away, Navy. I know you like everything that's kind of fun and cool. you
Yeah.
enjoy,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah. Yep. So
that's our story mover.
that's it. So
It dates back to the Battle of Trafalgar, where once it was over, they licked mustard off of
exactly.
captured Spanish sailors.
Thank you for bringing it all together. That's clearly the,
With other men join the Navy. I don't think so. Living on a boat. I don't think so.
He's not wrong.
Hot bucket. Yeah, I don't think so.
He's not wrong.
we did not
Good
hop on.
night trap. Fuck that. I
Well,
don't
that part.
think so.
All right. That part's kind of
Sure, I've thought about the Navy, but decided to pass. I love my 5-star hotels and per diem out the ass. I do all of my fighting well within the shore. Cable TV, the cappuccinos, that's the way that you fight a war.
Well,
This bold life, it can roll.
So, in summary of your mental health minute, there you go.
When the coffee ain't fresh, sheets ain't soft, beer is only somewhat cold.
Thank
Good
you
night,
for your
everybody.
service, mover.
Thank you for your service. Good night, everybody.
good night, everybody.
In the show.